Hello, everybody, and we're back to the Lady in the Tramp duology. Well, kind of, but not really.
We're saving the sequel for another time.
We'll save the sequel for another time. For now, let's handle the 2019 remake. Um, to continue on what we were talking about at the end of the previous commentary of the original, just to give you guys an idea, like of how even Disney apparently forgot that this thing exists because this thing has yet to get a Blu-ray release. Yes, it's as of right now, it's only available on Disney Plus. It hasn't gotten a DVD or Blu-ray release.
Okay, just let me know. Has anything that's been like a Disney Plus original gotten a Blu-ray or DVD
Yeah,
release?
my question is similar to, for example, the MCU series like WandaVision.
I don't
The,
recall
the,
that one
the,
getting one. Like, okay. Around the time WandaVision came out, that was back when Disney were really in the mindset that people are gonna come flocking to Disney Plus, which they did. But of course, as we've seen as of 2022, only so many people can come to Disney Plus until you eventually just reach the top and then start losing money off of the whole thing. So, my wondering, has Disney ever thought, okay, maybe we should start giving our Disney Plus stuff some physical releases?
I guess not, but it is weird that this is the only live-action remake that doesn't have one.
I think it's
Oh
because
well.
it's the only live action remake that was only released on Disney Plus.
It's a shame because I actually would like to see some behind-the-scenes featurettes for this remake. But anyway,
I'm surprised we haven't
uh,
gotten that because Disney Plus has been all the rage with giving some behind the scenes featurettes.
if I remember correctly, the extra section on Disney Plus only has the trailer and that's it. So okay, so this remake was actually once again handled by the same division that gave us all the other remakes. However, and yeah, like Joe was saying, this was literally in 2019, the year of the dark year of Disney remakes, because yeah, it was that infamous year where we got a shit ton of bad ones.
Well, not just that, the
Um,
fact that we got four in one year. That was. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that was more remakes in one year than we had ever gotten
so
up until that point.
So here's the interesting thing. The guy who directed this movie, he doesn't exactly have the best track record. I mean, he was a layout artist on the Ren and Stimpy show, Animaniacs, and the Batman animated series. So yeah, as a layout artist, he definitely has a good resume. But as a in terms of more bigger roles, he was the co-creator, writer, and director of Buy One Get One Free. I don't know what that is. I think you'll like this, Teo. He was a layout artist and storyboard artist on the Hercules and Xena animated movie, The Battle for Mount Olympus. The one,
Oh no! I have heard bad things about that
he was
movie.
he was also the story writer and storyboard artist for the Pop-Off Girls movie, which also was not very good. Um, he did an additional voice for the Lego Batman movie, which is good. But he
Okay.
was the director of the Lego Ninjago movie, which, from
Oh
what I've heard,
yes, that.
apparently wasn't good.
Which is bad. Can I
Well.
go home now?
Okay. Let me put it like this: that movie is part of the reason that Warner Brothers kind of reneged on the whole deal with Lego. It's part.
We're, we, we, we
Yeah.
were negated a good Bionicle movie. Thanks.
God
Yeah.
damn. But
That being
anyway,
said,
this
yeah, right
movie.
after the right after the Ninjago movie, this is his new thing where he directed. He didn't write, apparently. So if it helps you, he didn't write this one. Instead, the screenplay was written by Andrew Bujalski, I guess. I think that's how you pronounce this. Who is known for stuff that I've never heard of. So whatever. The point is, this was made by clearly people who are not exactly high-profile filmmakers. Um,
And I don't think we mentioned the budget, but you can kind of tell that it wasn't as big as something as Aladdin or The Lion King. It was about something more contained.
Now, okay. As we mentioned previously, this is a movie that was not exactly talked about a lot by critics or reviewers. Now, granted, it seems to have gotten, funnily enough, a fresh Rotten Tomatoes score of 65%.
Not enough nice.
Honestly, I would argue it deserves better than that, but again, that's for later.
Okay,
The
okay,
point
okay.
is,
Anyway, as for in terms of internet reviewers, though, well, yeah. One of the reviews is literally called, and I quote, "The movie that you did not hear about." Sorry. the Lady and the Tramp remake that nobody knows about. Now, one of the few people who did do this was Doug Walker during his Disney-cember review stuff, but yeah, no, I can't really find any other big ones. I guess we have Cinema Snob who did a Siamese cat review because he has a Siamese cat, but yeah.
I guess, but okay, so the basic gist of it is, everybody, we're going to start the movie on Disney Plus because it's the only place where you can watch this in. So should be fine. There's not really any different versions of this movie, so you should be fine.
All right then, audience, start right at the Disney Plus original logo, which I don't know if that's really been a logo that's been used in recent time. But regardless, start at that, because that's pretty much the only way you're watching this movie these days. And let the merriment begin in 3, 2, 1, click. I do want to say something.
I think, Java, the most latest occasion might have been Prey, the Predator prequel. And by the way, Java, we get a custom Disney logo where when you wish upon a star is done in a dress style.
Yeah,
nice.
I think you like this. I knew you were going to like this. First red impression, the when you wish upon a star in the jazz version. There you go.
This is because, again, the setting is changed to New Orleans, or at least a city that heavily resembles that, and as such, the culture is reimagined a bit to that.
Ooh, sepia tone.
With also, yes, because if you remember, the original movie started the concept art in a sepia tone. So we're gonna do something.
Oh, and it literally starts in like a picture painting background, kind of similar to how
Similar to the original.
Yeah, this actually starts with a little 2D animation at the beginning, actually.
Okay, that's an interesting open. A tailor-made production.
And with a instrumental plus more choir version of Bella Notte.
Nice. Okay. I do want to point out something, though. As some of you may have heard, one of the frustrating things about Disney Plus for both fangoers and Disney altogether is the fact that, with stuff being on Disney Plus, people are flocking to it, but eventually at some point, there's only so much you can do for Disney Plus, which does make me wonder, hey Disney, are you ever gonna, just make physical versions of your media that's on Disney Plus? I'm sure it could probably help you get some revenue. Oh, Ken Jeong's in this movie. As well as Yvette. Sam Elliott is Trusty.
Yeah, Sam Elliott is Trusty.
Benedict Wong. Clancy Brown.
Yes, Clancy Brown. This movie has a really good cast. Indeed.
Okay, how did this movie go under the radar?
Wait,
I kind of answered my own question.
And yes, we use also the same song as the original on the radio. Still love it.
I also noticed that Yvette Nicole Brown is here, so we sort of have a semi-community reunion, which is funny because those two also showed up in Endgame, which came out the same year, actually.
Just as you mentioned Avengers, Jova, because the lady in this remake is played by Tessa Thompson, aka Valkyrie from the MCU.
Okay, first of all, Johnny Deere hasn't. Still hasn't put holes in the boxer, for fuck's sake. But here's the thing, we do something curious about this. This movie will have a lot more focus also on human characters, but for this initial shot, we don't see completely bare faces as a sort of homage to the original.
I mean, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
However, like Teo just said, yes, the humans are actually going to be more proper characters in this version.
Disgusting.
And this lady. Okay, so here's the first cool thing that I really like about this remake already. As noted here, the production utilized real dogs to portray the film's titular characters every time it was possible. While there is some use of CGI for certain actions that would, not really be, or at the very least would be dangerous to get a dog to do, they will indeed use. However, for every single time it was possible to use a trained dog, they used the trained dog.
Which makes me
is a natural dog.
Which makes you wonder, okay, one of the issues with this movie also, I do recall there being trailers for this movie on YouTube and ads that would show up, but I never saw a single trailer of this movie that actually had the dogs talking. So I wonder what's the deal with that.
I don't know what to tell you, Jova.
Maybe to finish the effect for last, to be polished as possible.
Okay, so in terms of Disney Plus original stuff, is this something that, actually feels good, or does it feel like one of the cheaper remakes? And granted, I know that I know that for some reasons,
I
like
mean, Java, you're here to see for yourself, huh?
Honestly,
Yeah.
Java, considering it's Lady in the Tramp, if anything, it makes sense that this would be one of the cheaper remakes. This is not exactly a high scale movie to begin
yeah,
with.
that is a good point.
Not to mention, if anything, the lower budget, if anything, probably did help because, like I said, the fact that they have a lower budget means they can't rely on CGI too much, which means they actually have to train dogs do things, which, in my opinion, makes the movie better.
That being said,
So-
the budget for this was $60 million, so it's not too much of a slouch. I'll give them that.
So is this going to be the new trend now? For like when Disney in the past had the direct to DVD animated sequels, and now they're having the lesser
Direct to Disney
remakes go to
Plus.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus films.
Yeah, probably.
Ah, cute. He's trying to teach the dog to sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
One thing that you will notice quickly is that in this remake, almost all the human characters, almost, are actually more nicer towards the animals. A little bit more, severe, behavior. But even Johnny Deere and Darling Hand in the original movie are not present here because again, I get the idea we wanted to have still put the message of what they wanted to do without having a more softer tone.
Yeah, this also, it's like Teo said. Yeah, they are showing more time. The movie extends the runtime, but it actually does it with purpose. This
Let
allows
me
for you
guess.
to get a-
Aged up dog. And...
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
a cool
that's cute.
transition, admittedly.
Again, it works fine. No complaints from me.
I'll give
And
him
there you
this.
go, there she's talking.
Yeah. The mouth movements of the animals look good as well.
And I will say that. And I will say this. And yes, I'm sorry, but I know it's a cheap shot, but I'm gonna have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the lower budget, I do find the facial animations more expressive than the lions in Lion King. Yeah.
Oh, like, no, you're
I
absolutely...
think that's the general consensus that movie is just so lifeless.
Okay, getting a bit ahead of myself.
A more jazzy upbeat version of the La Lulu song.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the thing...
all the songs from the original movie are here. so-
Honestly, the Lion King thing
I
check...
think sorry, go on, John.
The Lion King thing checks out because its major issue is that they put way too much money in trying to make it too realistic to the point where they forgot to give the animals keen expressions, which is weird because he did just fine in Jungle Book, but yeah. Song and
There
dance
is
has
one.
been said.
There is one song, quote unquote, that is missing from the original, but you might as well not even notice that it's not here. Uh-oh.
Well,
Oh,
that's the thing.
Did this?
Well, that's the thing, Jover. Nowadays, John Favreau is too busy trying to have crappy voice AI be the new thing.
wait, seriously?
Hold on. Well,
Yeah, I'll say it.
More on that later. Like, I think Jon Favreau's thing is just that he's very much a man for the technology, so I don't think it's anything malicious.
Here comes Trusty. Okay, so Trusty is pretty much the exact same character. However, I do actually think they did refine a bit stuff from his character arc in the original, as I'm going to note later.
And hey,
So,
he's
and
voiced
yeah,
by
like-
Sam Elliott. That's a plus in my
Which
book.
is perfect casting right there. Because he really captures what the character is supposed to
And
sound
for
like.
those who don't know, Sam Elliott had already voiced Marmaduke in the teacher Marmaduke in the 2005 movie, so he's used to this.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Are there any cats and dogs actors in this movie?
And here's Jock.
Oh,
So they reinvented Jock a bit. She's still a Scottish Terrier. However, she's female this time, and we actually get to meet the owner. And as you can see, the owner likes to paint her, and she
a
likes
bit
it. as
too
you can see.
much.
Let's
at that.
see. So, Jock is voiced by Ashley Jensen in this.
Bellissima.
Bellissima.
Hey.
Ooh,
Oh,
damn.
I was all about the CGI for a second there.
Oh no, I was talking about the snark there. Yeah, the CGI looks fine
Well,
for the most part.
considering the budget they were given, I get the feeling this is probably the best we could have gotten. Honestly, I mean, it's not obviously it's not perfect, but honestly, for a $60 million movie, I think this is fine.
Well, okay. Well, here's my personal test when it comes to animated dogs on film. If any film involving live action yet use of CGI, sometimes animated dogs in live action, looks worse than Cats and Dogs, a film with probably half this budget and came out in 2001, then something's wrong. But we'll have to see for the rest of the
Oh
movie
boy.
first.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, she doesn't seem to mind, but still.
Oh yeah, Jack or Jacqueline, as she's called by her owner. Yeah, she seems to at the very least enjoy being a model. Oh look,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
clearly pregnant.
yeah, as if I would ever stop being the focus of attention.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking also, Jova. The first time I was here, I was like, oh my god, are we gonna have the train workers start making a song about work is great? But thankfully, no, they don't do that.
There he is.
Mm-hmm. Tramp is played by Justin Furrow, who
He co-wrote Tropic Thunder.
and he was also the voice of Lord Garmadon in the Lego Ninjago movie. So I guess the director brought him from the Lego Ninjago movie. I guess.
Cute.
He's been in various roles. Like he was Megamind's father in Megamind. Like he's had odd roles here and there, basically.
Oh, that looks like it hurts. I love how some of the other workers are cheering him on.
Yeah, that's the thing about Tramp. He has people who hate him, but also he has people who like him, and yeah, like him being get back to work. Yeah.
This is, as you can see, this is sort of a stark contrast. Why didn't even the original Tramp had some humans that that he was trusting upon without, being attached to them? In here, there are a bit more that, that is friendly with.
I'm fine.
Humans don't completely suck, you know?
I'm fine with this because
he's-
it also
he's-
does give his argument for wanting to live life free some merit as well.
Yeah, his
too.
main point is just to live free without an owner.
But yeah, no, they're definitely taking in the New Orleans setting, I see.
Which
It
actually
also
fits
has
further well
with
for
the
what they're going to
diversity of
do.
the cast, yeah. Burger.
Yeah, I love this one.
Dang.
That poor dude.
Yeah, it's just like in the original movie
Yeah.
with how he gets the police
Yeah.
officer and the other man
Yeah, right-
thinking that they're
yeah,
trying to
that's-
kill each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right from the get-go, you can tell that these filmmakers understand the original.
Oh no.
Oh god, they're literally babies. Yeah, no, I'm fine with the dog's expressions here. They tell the line between realistic but, still emotional.
Little shits.
Yeah.
That line, but take it from me. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow, they literally called him a dick in those sweet, cute voices.
I love that line from Tramp. Like, but take it from me. Eventually, that voice is gonna drop and the
Hey,
bit is
Joe,
dead.
Yeah,
Another thing that got ranked up a bit is the dog pound owner, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Oh.
and yeah, and Peggy shows up earlier. Right, there she is. Peggy is
There you go.
played by let me see, Janelle Monáe. I don't know who she is. Let me see.
Okay, I forgot who the name of his actor is for the dog pound owner, but he's basically discount Michael Pena, basically,
Huh.
and he's obsessed with
Okay.
catching the dog.
He's played by Adrian Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I feel like I've seen this actor from somewhere before.
So here's the cool thing about the woman playing Peggy. She's an American singer, rapper, and actress. So she is a
Oh my
musician like
God!
Peggy Lee was.
Oh my God, I know where I've seen this guy from. He's the cashier from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
As for Janelle,
Benedict Wong voices instead the Bulldog.
She was in Rio 2. She was in she was in this. And Dwebs, since you're a fan of that series, she's in the recent Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery movie.
Okay.
cool.
Okay, I'll give him credit. Peggy looks a lot like how she did in the original.
They went out of their way to make sure all the dogs had the exact same race as they did in the original. So
I do see that one thing they're emphasizing more is Tramp's kind of penchant for being a bit of a loner, insisting that you do stuff on your own here, but he is still willing to help.
And trust me, Jova, the movie is not just doing this for the hell of it. The movie is going to give a very good reason why he is the way he is in this version.
Oh.
You see, the jangling of keys activates my superpowers.
And there you go. So yeah, even though Tramp, so to his credit, Tramp, despite being a loner, still saved them.
I love that.
I was shook.
I'm her husband, pal. Wow.
That was awkward.
Yeah.
That's awkward. Is no one going to walk me? No?
Why it's always Jack Daniels?
Jack Daniels. It's not too strong so that you won't be able to see where you're going afterwards, but it's good enough for the occasion.
It's more like his stereotype for the sophisticated,
The baby shower and the stag do.
So yeah, the scene where Darling tells Lady to go off is also changed a bit here. As you can see, and Sarah shows up earlier.
Oh God, she's played by Yvette Nicole Ground. So basically Sherry, but less nice, cute.
Yeah, I said hen party last time, but more accurately, it should be a baby shower.
Absolutely. Especially knocking that shit off.
Oh,
them fighting words.
Okay, so I see in this version Aunt Sarah's more of a dog racist.
I actually really love Tramp's new sass.
Yes. I mean, he had sass before, but they definitely did crank it up a notch, which I'm fine with. Honestly, the sass in general is up quite a bit in this movie.
And trust me, like I said, there actually is a good plot reason for it.
And so far, the humor's been really good.
Yeah. What I also do like is, like, well, it's not going through entirely all the same plot beats. Like, in the original, we definitely had kind of a bit more focusing on, ladies bout here before Tramp came into the picture. Whereas I'm
The
guessing
method-
they're trying to balance things out more.
The method seems to be, Jova, let's take everything that the original movie had and add more where appropriate and expand upon what is appropriate and maybe fix what probably could use fixing.
That's
it seems
good.
like
Also-
the original movie seems to be used as a blueprint rather than being a complete reinvention.
Also, as you can see, the first encounter is a bit more smooth, rather than just, Tramp just barging in for the lose until
Yeah.
Lane's carrying while having, the baby. They have this bit of talk.
And yeah,
That's
they retain
nice.
the Jim Deere gag as well.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you not
Right.
recognize by the voice he wasn't trusty before? He sounds nothing like Sam Elliott. Dang! I will bark as I please. Oh, but what a shame. Eh? Oh. Oh, he's in the doghouse now.
Now he is.
Huh. Okay, one thing I do notice is that despite some of her worries, it does seem like, Jim Deere is more concerned with Lady still, despite the excitement of having the baby.
Yeah, you can tell they decide to take the human characters and round them up a bit more, like give them a bit more distinct characteristics in comparison to how they. Because in the original film, that's right, they were more caricatures than actual characters. In here, they're actually more well-rounded characters in comparison.
Which, I kind of got why that was in the original, from the dog's perspective and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, yeah, this dog catcher is
Oh!
basically Captain Amber.
Oh, in this version, I guess Jim Deere does know about the rat.
Yeah, but again, as he himself says, they never managed to catch it. Yeah.
This has been a weird day for him.
Yeah, we're not doing this again.
Cute.
So in this version, they don't live in a massive swanky house. It's just a typical suburban neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it.
I mean, maybe a complaint about the original was, wait, why should I care about these rich people or something? I don't know.
I don't think it has anything to do with that.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
it
no,
was
no, I
mostly
mean-
just done.
Okay.
Probably because it was easier to find a place to shoot here. I don't know.
Okay, for one thing, given the nature of this movie, I can get why they would have done it. Like, well, for one thing, you get these big talented actors, you want to show off their faces more. So, and if you're going to show off their faces more, may as well round out the characters more. Also, to be fair, this is one of those cases where I could see them doing it so that it adds something new to the remake that the original didn't have as well, without necessarily suggesting that, that the original was bad with it. But it is something to add on.
By the way, I love that line from Lady just there. That is incredibly depressing and totally not true.
Damn.
Yeah.
Keep telling yourself.
Like, get the
that,
fuck
lady.
out.
He's
Why are you taking the bone?
It's my consolation prize.
But hey, she insists you just
What?
let him steal it.
Baka.
It's just ridiculous.
Well,
Baby.
maybe when
A
it's
baby
not...
steals slippers and glasses and everything else they can get their hands on.
Are you speaking from experience, Shiroi?
For the glasses one, yes.
Oh. What?
Like, if you're a glasses wearer and you hold a baby, they will, like, want to know what they are, and they try to pull them off your face every time. Every single time.
Well, the dogs.
No, the baby.
Well, dogs say difference.
The dogs don't take glasses, actually.
I
Oh!
think there is.
Oh,
quite a few differences there.
Okay. Okay, it's cute that...
Actually, I have this one here. Hold on.
So in this version... Okay. That's actually cute that they're having Ken Jeong play the doctor, seeing as how Ken Jeong actually is a licensed doctor. He's just taken up more so with acting.
I'm pretty sure that's meant to be the in joke.
Yeah! Oh snap, even the doctor said good luck to the dog. Also, I see in this version it's a baby girl instead of a baby boy.
Again, like we said in the original, it doesn't really matter, so
Yeah.
anything's full.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
It had nothing to do with the plot, so,
Whatever.
I guess the only thing that would change is a potential sequel given... Actually, no, even that probably wouldn't change much.
Because in the sequel, wasn't the baby still like a baby?
No.
Or like a toddler?
The baby's more of a toddler by the time of the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've looked at the TV tropes page for this movie. Even the Your Mileage May Vary page is really small compared to a lot of other Disney remakes.
Okay.
That's the thing. As you can see, Debs, I picked the movie that time forgot.
Again,
basically.
I'm convinced this movie was just the perfect storm to have been placed in about where it would not really be noticed upon its release and would unfortunately get buried. And again, the lack of physical media for it hasn't really helped things either. Like, look, I work in retail, and I have seen some very, very obscure movies, but at least they're in physical media. I am sure some people probably know more about this random jungle film that I saw than they know about Lady and the Tramp just off of physical media. And again, I know some people may say, oh, but tons of people have Disney Plus. That may be true, but answer me this. How many people have Disney Plus are going to be going out of their way to look for this?
Even
Just
we
like
see
with-
even Rusty's owner.
Yeah, Trusty's owner. And yeah, he eats with his owner, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, one
So-
thing that the original only implied was that yes, Chuck and Rusty talked about these films of victory, but we never saw what their owners were like. And now we see instead that their owners are like single people without actual family, so they do not know exactly what it feels like, potentially having someone else.
Although
being potentially sent to a
Although, given how Trusty knew his owner as Grandpappy, I think that implied that while he did have kids at some point, I think what happened was maybe by the time, Trusty's owner got him, maybe Grandpappy's wife had died or something. Ah, yes, they're making that rat a recurring occurrence, I see.
Yeah, this movie foreshadows the rat quite more in comparison to the original. Yeah, which makes sense considering it's the big climatic conflict of the movie.
Dang, put outside.
He was barking too loudly. You might scare the baby.
And it
It
begins.
reminds me of that joke in Seinfeld. Elaine, you gotta come and see the baby. Oh, speaking of
Here
babies,
she is.
Well, we saw her earlier, but like I said, she seems to be playing lesser nice Sherry, essentially.
Well, I mean, that's nice to see. She's really encouraging towards her sister.
yeah.
Through gritted teeth.
Yeah.
In a not really through gritted teeth, in a backhanded way, but yeah, go on, Pedro.
Pretty much.
Like I said in the previous commentary, one of the primary fears I had going into this remake was that this was going to do what the Dumbo remake did, completely remove the crows because, well, racism. Which again, don't get me wrong, I understand that decision.
Okay.
I don't even particularly like the crows.
I was going to say for a second there.
Okay, if I am to be fair, I feel like the reason the crows were removed wasn't so much because they wanted to dodge the racism thing. That was more so the fact that the plot kind of changes gears absolutely with how it goes. Like,
Yeah, they really don't add anything to the movie at all.
Oh, no.
I'm actually curious.
I'm not particularly a fan of the crow, so I wouldn't particularly bother by that specifically. That being said, racist stereotypes aside, I actually really like the Siamese cat sequence.
Oh, same, yeah.
So I was actually really happy to see that they did retain it, as you're about to see.
Is she trying to reenact the HMV logo?
Oh god.
Yeah, Aunt Sarah is an opera fan.
Is that a demon in the box?
You could say that.
No, Jova, it's worse. 2 demons. Wait, they're actually played by real-life robbers.
Yep.
So, Jova, you want more chance?
Interesting. So I see they have a different song this time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I guess to be fair, they're not Siamese cats, so the lyrics wouldn't really work.
No, they had to reinvent that.
Still conveys the idea that they want to
Let me
fuck
guess.
shit up.
Let me guess. There's a rendition of a song in the credits.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if the song's in the film at all.
Oh, whatever. I think this new song works just as well, honestly, so I'm not bothered by that.
It has the same point, but without the racism.
Okay.
And man, these cats are dicks.
Okay.
There's so many. Yeah,
Did you notice?
I'm gonna bring up
5 with their tails. Did you notice?
Yes.
I'm not even gonna bring.
Yeah.
It's too easy to bring up the times when old classic Doctor Who fell victim to that. So, yeah.
Okay. In this version, the curtains are still up, so clearly Aunt Sarah would have to know that dogs can't climb up like that and claw the curtains. But, okay, to be fair, one thing this movie seems to give us is that she's definitely more of a cat person in the sense where she will find cats to be angels and dogs as
Jeez.
Yeah, that's like Jova said, yeah, in this version, Aunt Sarah is definitely not a dog person at all. She doesn't seem to particularly like cats and definitely prefers, so not prefer like dogs and definitely prefers cats. So she probably has a strong bias against dogs.
They definitely seem to be okay. I joked about her being the heel in the original movie, but in this movie, they have her even giving backhanded compliments to the couple as well, to the point where, yeah, I get the feeling we're not supposed to like her as much in this.
Not the pot.
Oh no.
Of course.
And the cats all act super scared.
Oh,
shit. Well, that happened.
Jeez, those cats.
Are dicks.
Yeah.
The
And again,
chaos.
and in this version,
I-
she should at least know that lady couldn't have climbed and clawed the curtains like that. So, yeah.
Well, Jova, considering on Sarah, she probably reacted in the heat of the moment and probably didn't really think things through.
Oh, like I said though, this
But,
this version of Aunt Sarah definitely seems to be less likable than the original version. I mean, not that the original version was scoring any awards herself, but no, this one seems to be much more of a heel. Again, the backhanded compliments.
Ooh, Chew Toy. Most unorthodox.
I love how even this guy wonders if it's really necessary, but she's like, oh no, absolutely. Like, again, I see that this version of the movie is very much,
They don't want you to like her at all. They
Yeah.
definitely want you to dislike her.
And now we have a
Okay.
reason also for later for the pound to actually catch her, because in this case he actually removes the collar.
Okay. I'm gonna take a wild guess, and that this is gonna culminate with the couple eventually telling her off because, you know, she's even given them backhanded compliments, so, yeah.
We'll see. Okay. First off, I really like the small touches here and there. Like I said, like the Siamese cats were in the original were dicks, but that's about it. But in here, they gave again that little final shot of them faking fear, just to as if to say, no, she's doing this, and we're scared. Again, that's
yeah.
just a little bit extra character that I appreciate. And again, this Jova, this is where the plot starts taking a more different approach to this particular part of the story.
Well, the fact that lady doesn't have her collar definitely means that some things are gonna go quite differently.
Yes, and
Oh, snap.
trust me, the movie's going somewhere with this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Jova. Now this is a sequence that does feel like they probably took inspiration from the sequel. This dog. I forgot the name of the big, mean dog from the sequel. What was his name?
Buster.
I get the feeling this dog here, he's probably kind of half inspired by that one. Because again, I do remember in the sequel having a similar sequence to this one.
And this
Okay,
is the
like-
one voiced by Clancy Brown.
Yep. Yeah, I really like the bullshit that Tramp pulls out of his ass to save her. Just listen to this.
What?
Ah!
Yeah,
Hold on.
No.
Uh,
No, not a rabbit.
And she's not rabbit either. She's rabbit.
dog.
Take the hint.
Act. Come on, lady, work with me here.
She's clearly high, so yeah, she has rabies. Oh my god! She's so crazy she doesn't even know part of what she's doing!
She's all over the place. The actress is having fun.
We just cheated that guy out of his home and sausages.
And then the dog either got ran over or starved to death.
I love this banter.
Yeah, I like their dynamic in this movie.
Can you say thank you, lady?
I can't do it.
Hey, Java, here's the major thing they actually cut away from the movie: the entire zoo sequence. Instead,
Yeah.
the beaver is with this beaver statue.
Now you're
Don't
probably
worry.
wondering. Now you're probably wondering, yeah, why would they turn the beaver into part of the statue and instead just have basically completely streamline the removing the muzzle sequence? That's because the movie has something much more interesting in store.
Huh.
Because
Okay.
don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. Not that the beaver sequence in the original movie was bad; it was perfectly fine comic relief. However, the movie is going to take advantage and remove that, and instead replace it with a sequence that delivers much better character development.
Also, as you can see, the entire thing about removing it gives actual a bit more bonding time between the two.
Yeah, that too. Again, you can tell that the filmmakers wanted to focus specifically on making this relationship as good as it could possibly be.
Hey, Dad, how did
Also,
you...
yes, Lion King.
Hey, Dad, how did you and Mom start to get together? Well, son, it all started when I had to release your mom's mouth from a muzzle.
Like Joe and Shira just said, yes, the humorous banter between the two has been really improved. And second, there's going to be a lot more character development and bonding between these two by the time this is done, which makes the romance even better.
So part of me is...
I thought baby and with the baby.
Part of me is wondering, if this movie had been released in theaters, could it have been a noble enough success here? Like...
Yeah, that's the thing that actually are discussing with Pedro when we saw the movie. I personally don't. Okay, while I do actually really appreciate this movie, looking by the quality of it, it doesn't really look like theater type movie.
Okay, this is...
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing with Disney Plus. I do appreciate that it allows Disney to allow some people to put out projects that they would often not feel confident about putting to theaters. Fair and fine enough, even though that line can get very skewed here and there, as we saw with what happened with Pixar. But regardless, though, it seems like a good idea. I do feel like, though, one issue is that Disney may sometimes be using it to take the easy road out here, which is kind of a shame. Yes?
I just remembered one, Jova. If I remember correctly, Turning Red had the Disney Plus original logo in it.
Even though Pixar definitely...
And that got a Blu-ray release. So...
Well, yeah, true. I mean...
If Turning Red can get a Blu-ray release, why can't this?
Okay. With the Turning Red, I really don't believe that was supposed to be a Disney Plus original, especially given how Pixar very publicly voiced their displeasure.
Yeah, I love the lady was saying, "Oh, they would never leave me on the streets." But once again, she's in denial.
It's gonna be important for later as well.
And I like, and Tramp's face just screams, "You poor delusional girl."
That being said, though, I did not know that Turning Red had the Disney Plus original logo attached to it. So, but yeah, no, I mean, okay, I will say this: I do think that stuff like this should get a physical media release. I'm just trying to figure out why none of Disney's Disney Plus stuff seems to have done that.
Sorry, God.
Go on.
I absolutely love how the dog catcher is played pretty seriously, but more on him later.
And now,
here's a completely original sequence.
Yeah, and surprisingly, it takes inspiration from, of all things, Princess and the Frog.
Oh, really?
You might remember in Princess and the Frog, where there actually is a good heartfelt sequence between the romantic couple in one of these types of boats from New Orleans. Well, this movie is going to take inspiration from that and do the same thing.
Interesting. Okay, you know what? Honestly, that was one of the things I did like about the Lion King 2019 remake, was when it was doing bits from newer stuff, kind of like when they had Timon and Pumbaa sing Be Our Guest from the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. Again, nothing wrong with incorporating some of your newer stuff.
That being one thing I will and one thing I'll definitely give credit to.
I love that bit. And such precious ears. Huh, well, that's what the men are into now these days, I guess.
Honestly, the one thing I would do give credit to the Lion King remake is that they handled Timon and Pumbaa much better they fixed Timon and Pumbaa as far as I'm concerned. But we're not here to talk about that. The point is, that being said, Jova, what the fuck is up with the fucking ball of turds sequence?
Pedro, you and everyone else has tried to solve that mystery. Again,
anyway, yeah.
But no, I do wonder, could this movie have succeeded well if it came to theaters? Like, granted, maybe they might have needed to give it a bit more of a production boost, but I do wonder. Like, I mean, the original movie was a success in theaters, so...
Alright, so this is actually a good way to judge this movie, because this is an entirely original sequence that cannot rely on nostalgia, so let's see how they handle it.
Huh. And that's why he goes by the Tramp, I guess. Yeah, that is kind of a thing. Like, when you get down to it, the Tramp is kind of more so a title than an actual name when you think about it.
It's more enforced in my country because he's called Literally Vagabond.
That's the thing. In this version, he doesn't actually have a name because, well, let's just wait.
Oh, he might. Okay, going for what we know later, he might have had one, but he chose to.
But he probably chose to abandon it as for reasons that will become clear later.
Now, well, here's one thing I do wonder. Could this movie have had more freedom than a lot of remakes tend to have because this one wasn't coming to theaters, so Disney were like, do whatever? I
get the feelings that... Okay, hold on. This actually is really good. This is, again, a really good thing. So, Tramp is going to teach Lady how to owl.
I know some people may think it doesn't add much pop, but let's not forget the original movie was pretty much just dogs doing dog things, so I'm fine with this.
Well, the original movie is a love story, so if anything, it makes perfect sense to make add more character development to said love story, because this is the core thing that makes that the whole movie revolves around. So it makes complete sense to focus on it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do wonder if what we have is a paradox. A movie that maybe could have succeeded in theaters, but quite possibly the only reason it was allowed to be this good was because Disney didn't meddle because this wasn't coming to theaters, so they thought, just do whatever, it'll do well with Disney+. Again, for all I know, that's not how it went, but wouldn't that be just ironic enough?
Yeah, I actually get the feeling that probably what happened was, since Disney probably didn't really have much expectations in terms of this movie, they probably just allowed the filmmakers to they probably just let the filmmakers do their devices. And as a result, they didn't get any stupid mandates of any kind. And fortunately, these filmmakers understood the original film, so they were able to do a good job.
This kind of makes me wonder if Lion King, the original Lion King, like, you remember how that was also a movie Disney didn't have faith in? I wonder, if Lion King had been made in this day and age, would that just have been something that Disney had say, put it on Disney Plus, it's not the one we care for as much?
They probably would have done that, yes.
Which is deeply ironic, because that is literally one of their biggest gravy trains now.
Hold on, another sequence.
Ooh. This is a bit different, because in the original, Lady was always insistent on going home, but now she seems to have some doubts.
Yeah, that's one of the other things that's really a big improvement for me. In the original film, Lady has lines, but not that many. In here, they give her a lot more dialogue, and we get a lot more insight into how she feels about this whole situation.
Like, in the original, she was always dead set on getting home, which...
Confident, yeah.
Yeah, and I like Tramp's apology. Look, I know that it seemed like I was trying to, but I wasn't. Like, so he's trying to apologize, and
I do like how he's not just I told you so in her face about it.
No, Tramp has a bit of a rough exterior, but he still has the kind-hearted soul that he was in the original.
Oh,
like Lady in the original movie wasn't stupid, but she was a bit of a, I'll say, ditzy dame, and that was really it for her, as far as her character went.
But in here, she's much more well-rounded.
If I may, I wouldn't say she was a bad character, but it was more like about a.
Oh no.
It was
She
more.
was simple
in
though.
this
is the
in
thing.
this version, Tony's assistant is not also Italian, but I guess Puerto Rican or Latino.
One thing I did notice in the original compared to this is that it's very much more of a solid one way or this way direction between Lady and Tramp. You're like, Lady is strictly about wanting to go back to the home style, whereas Tramp is strictly about, just living life free. Two exact opposites, showing how opposites could attract and maybe even compromise. Here, though, I do notice that there's a lot more nuance in both of these two's directions here. Again, it keeps the spirit of the original, but adds some extra flavor to it in a good way, I'd say. Like, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but shoot,
It does exactly what it does exactly what a remake should do.
Now, I'm not gonna pass final judgment yet, but no, so far this is shaping up to be one of the best Disney remakes, honestly, of the bunch.
Lives, do you mind telling me and the audience, remind me who plays Tony in this version?
I just saw it's F. Murray Abraham.
Oh yeah, he was in Scarface and
Yeah.
Star Trek Insurrection.
He also
So there's
plays.
a general idea on how to do an Italian stereotype, even if it's not properly Italian-American.
He's best known for playing Antonio Salieri in the dramatic film Amadeus.
Okay, it says here too that he describes himself as a Syrian American. So apparently he descends from Syria. So yeah, he does.
I still don't mind. Again, sure, it would have been better if it was actually properly Italian-American, but I don't mind it, so don't worry.
He's also in Moon Knight, too, apparently.
Okay. Well, he's probably a Disney regular these days.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Oh yeah, F. Abraham. He plays a guy that gets hugged.
Oh god, he was also in Star Trek Insurrection.
All of this.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, the chef is a liar.
Some music to set the scene. Like, let's be honest, there was no way they were gonna cut this scene.
Oh,
Of course
no.
not.
But in this case, the restaurant's still open.
I'm guessing they have
guess-
other workers?
I guess,
Yeah.
or I guess they're, or maybe they're not particularly good restaurant managers. I guess.
Yeah, I want to give them the benefit of a doubt and assume that things are well handled enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're gonna do it, aren't they?
Well, they're like
It's so iconic as a scene, Drover. Come on.
it's the most iconic scene in the movie.
Hey!
You know there'd be YouTube videos calling this movie a shit show if they didn't include that.
Guys, let's not forget the Mulan movie made it a point of removing those iconic scenes, thinking it would make the movie
Yeah.
better, so can't be too careful.
Joe, listen to it in a moment. Hold on. I know, not yet. Okay. If I was going to fade into the other scene now, but okay.
All right.
Keep in mind, this is my second time watching, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
snap!
see the scene.
They even
yeah,
replicated the sound of the Disney
There you
choir
go.
from the
Yeah,
original.
they brought
For the-
back the classic one.
The classic Disney choir from Walt Disney's time.
And honestly, at least in my opinion, it suits so much, but so much also the live action scene.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm wondering if they even got some of the original singers from that choir, assuming that they were alive.
You can also pay attention. You can also see the attention to detail where the trees and everything also reflect the backgrounds of the original. Again, the attention to detail with these guys is almost maniacal.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. And again, like,
The fact that nobody talks about this is so criminal.
again, I really do.
Please.
I do really do want to pin it on several factors. Again,
Yeah.
it was released in a bad year for live action remakes. I don't think the advertising was the best. And again, Disney Plus exclusive, back when Disney Plus was not exactly the hot ticket item that, it would later become in 2020.
Which is a shame because you can tell that the people who made this movie poured their heart and soul into it.
I mean, shoot,
That being said,
honestly,
we're only halfway through, so again, wait until the movie's over for final
yeah,
judgment. But you
that
get a
is
general idea for the time being.
that is a noticeable thing. In the original, I feel like at this point we were like more so 3/4 into the movie as opposed to only halfway.
Because this is like this is 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes longer than the original.
I wonder what
The
they'll
good
add
reason, though,
on.
is you'll see. Now we're going to get what is probably the scene that surprised me and Teo the most when we first saw this. Because we weren't
Oh,
expecting the movie. Because we weren't expecting the movie to go here.
all right. Let's see. Also, that shot of the town, that looked literally like it came straight from the original movie, just turned into live action.
Again, you can tell that the people who made this movie have a genuine appreciation for the original and wanted to make it justice.
They must have trained the animals pretty well for
run.
this movie.
Here's the payoff for the howling lesson. Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Pedro, considering the movie you and I watched recently alone, I wonder if this is how the behind the scenes for the dub of the last Diamond and Pearl Pokemon movie went for that bit where she has to howl like a wolf.
Ah, you two are so cute together.
They really are, though.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. Listen here.
Hmm. Well, that's
I
technically
was gonna
not
say-
how it went.
I was going to say they left you first.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Yeah, how would you
Speaking
know that?
for experience,
Tramp?
Tramp. Huh?
Oh.
And if you notice in the background, it was when a baby arrived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's one thing that the original never tackled, but it's a sad reality even to this very day. So if anything,
Oh
again,
my
keeping
God,
in the
they
spirit
little-
of the original, he was abandoned like that.
All in the act of playing fetch, too. That's like the ultimate betrayal.
That's a yeah, jeez.
Top 10 dog betrayals.
Seriously,
Wow.
though. I never understood that, though, because that's a real thing that happens. Look,
Oh yeah. That's a thing, Shiro. I probably told you already, but more
And
of commentary. My country has to do PSAs every single summer because this is getting so out of control here.
Wait, they seriously
know
just
how many
abandoned
how many
dogs like
Christmases-
that? Wow.
Yeah, they do.
like,
I see Pokemon
Hold
do
on,
that.
hold on.
And
It's
every
really-
dog's got-
taking them to a shelter costs you nothing. It's better for them in the long run. Why do people just do that?
I wonder if
You
they're...
can literally take them to a shelter for free.
I wonder-
Why are you like this?
I wonder if the idea was... Okay,
Chire.
I wonder if
I
the...
think Tramp just answered your question. He said, people don't do loyalty. There you go. There's your answer. Go on, Jova.
I do wonder if they didn't have shelters back then, and, their mentality was, if we put him in the pound, he might get put down. This is not to excuse the fact that they flipping abandon him still. I'm just trying to make heads or tails on why they would do something that apparently cruel, because goddamn.
Also, yes, in a way to make Tramp less of a dick, they removed the scene of them chasing the chickens and putting, alerting the pounder. And instead, the dog catcher finding them on the spot on the hill.
Okay.
My guess is for why they're doing it like this, it's because, I guess because Tramp is more sympathetic here, they don't want to play up the idea that, oh, he's just a user, like, was, okay,
Yeah.
kind of the implication in the
It
original.
ended up being a misunderstanding, though, in the original.
Very much so, yeah.
It also fits better with this new take on Tramp, because Tramp is much more of a loner and the kind of a more sad soul of sorts.
Pretty much, yeah.
So,
it wouldn't make
so
sense
hi-
for
so
him.
him doing those kinds of pranks wouldn't really fit this new take on Tramp.
Also, Teo, right now, because it's coming up to Christmas, around here we're going to start getting the ads that always say, a dog is forever, not just for Christmas.
Again, it's one of those things where they
Wait,
took
oh
the
my god,
original-
people do that over there.
Oh, yeah, people will get a dog. And it happened
People do
for
that everywhere.
COVID as well, with like lockdown pets. People really couldn't deal with, what they were actually taking on. They thought, oh, a pet will make things, feel better. And it's like, pets are a lot of work. And yeah, it causes problems every single year.
Yeah.
You want to know the funny thing, though? For people who were loyal to their pets, COVID may have been the best moment for dogs who got to have their owners around 24/7.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things where you can tell what was their thought process. Let's take the two main lead characters and let's flesh them out. Let's give Lady let's have Lady speak more and actually have more insight in what's going on and reflect more on what's been happening to her. And let's give Tramp a tragic backstory that properly explains why he has this loner attitude that he does.
Also, can I just say this? The music goes pretty hard for this movie, given it's Lady and the Tramp.
Joseph Trapanese.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
His resume includes this movie, Tron Legacy, apparently, and the rest is mostly just things that. Oh, he was in Robin Hood. Which Robin Hood was it?
In 2018.
Okay, for a moment I thought it was the.
Okay,
the Russell Crowe one. Ugh.
One issue in this movie, though, Lady doesn't have her collar, though.
Yeah, exactly. Which means, things are probably going to get a bit tougher for her. Yeah.
So, are they actually going to commit to these changes unlike the Pinocchio 2022 remake?
Well, let's see.
Oh, snap, even the babies got caught.
I'm surprised they don't have one of them say, "Hey, look, guys, fresh meat."
Yeah. I mean, he's thinking it.
Huh, it's funny because in the sequel there is a tidbit about this vicious dog who has to be fought in the pound. Hey, Becky! Ah, nah.
Boss lady speaking.
Don't say that, please.
That's nice, honey. Don't. Okay.
So I guess the pound acts as a shelter based on what she just said.
Oh yeah, sure. That's kind of the point of a pound here, kind of an adoption shelter. The issue is that, if a dog ain't adopted eventually, yeah, they usually get the business
Now,
end of the
here's
needle.
an interesting thing, Jova. In this case, Peggy's musical number is diegetic.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeesh.
Satan.
Hey, and just at the right timing, the jazz boat is passing by to provide some accompaniment.
So was Peggy waiting just for the perfect moment, and she practiced all the choreography for all these other dogs, right?
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe the boat passes by routinely.
It could be. It's the steamboat for tourists.
I guess to be fair, I mean they're trapped here. I guess they have nothing better to do. Might as well practice choreography to pass the time.
But yeah, no, in this movie, they definitely seem to be emphasizing even more that, hey, Lady could probably get out just on the basis of being adoptable, but these dogs who don't get adopted, yeah, they are not going to exactly have a happy end.
You also noticed something. One other thing that they did to smooth out better Tramp's personality is that they completely did not mention about his past relationships. It's still implied that he might have had those, but they never said, in this version that he had the previous lovers.
I do find it a bit weird that Peggy is insisting that, oh, he's a loner, don't help much, even though he kinda did help you earlier in the film.
I'm guessing maybe Jova, you can argue that she's speaking from experience, and maybe Lady is the first dog that, like Teo said, she didn't mention previous lover, so maybe in this version, Lady's Tramp's first love. So
Oh boy.
Oh, yes,
so
they have that.
Dang!
Also, actually, when it came to the scene you were talking about, Jova, they actually did have to egg him on for him to help them.
That is a good
Yeah.
point, but he did help them. But I guess to be
He
fair,
did eventually, yeah.
I guess to be fair, there could be the argument that yeah, he does give off that persona. And to be
And like I
fair,
said-
one can see why he doesn't want to open up as much, given how, damn,
Yeah.
he really got taken for a ride in the worst possible way.
again, if anything, him having previous lovers would probably clash a bit with the loner don't want to open to anyone aspect. So yeah, I can understand why they removed that. Yeah, there you go. In this version, both Jim Deere and Darling come to get him.
And I guess to be fair, it's this that shows Lady that she does still have a home with them as well.
Mhm. Yes. Bye.
Okay, it's not a drastic change, but it's a change that I can appreciate all the same.
I mean, it makes sense with everything else they've done, so yeah.
Although this kind of just makes me wonder how they're gonna set up the rat scene, since I assume
Pedro
they're
was
not
wondering the
just
same thing, believe it or not.
yeah, since
Yep,
I
I was.
assume they're not gonna treat Lady badly, all things considered. Oh, snap.
Yeah. Now please get the fuck out.
So, in the nicest
Sure
way,
you
they're
do.
pretty much kicked her out.
There you go,
Mhm.
Jova. You call it.
Bye.
Wow. Slam the door in both her and the cat's face, which, yeah, just showed that the cats are fine, but yeah.
Yeah, they disappeared in the original movie. They went back to hell, I guess.
Aww.
Yeah, now the scene where they showcase a lady to the baby is reworked in this moment.
Exactly.
Because I was wondering, yeah, they wouldn't let us see the baby earlier.
Yeah.
So now the
They
story.
reworked the scene for this. So yeah, it still happens. It's just the order is different.
Huh, so now the story does make me wonder how they're gonna set up the rat scene if they're pretty much okay. Oh yeah, the newspaper scene as well.
Ah.
Oh, in this case, the newspaper is fine.
So yeah, technically, they didn't forget. They
Ah,
just
lady,
changed
please don't cockblock your owner there.
Yeah. So yeah, the filmmakers didn't forget those parts of the original. They just reworked them into different parts.
But yeah, now the
Interesting enough, as you can see, also they let some time pass, kind of like in the original, where things got pretty much in just in a couple of days connected to each other.
which I guess means that she has not seen Tramp in a while.
What makes this such so sad? The fact that the movie got treated away with, because you can tell a lot of thought went into creating this version. And there you go. In this one, lady has a more proper character arc with a proper payoff.
Even gives the baby a name of its own.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh god.
You know what? She's happy, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But at the same time, something about while it seems like its life is awesome again, something about the mix, like there's just something missing in Lady's life still somehow.
I mean, the film's called Lady and the Tramp after all. Not Lady feels sad for 2 hours.
So I wonder if in this version she actually does miss Tramp as opposed to believe
Yes,
that
she
he was
does.
just
Well, that
using
is what's
him.
happening here.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm guessing the reason Tramp hasn't
There you
come
go.
back to see her is because of guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact,
Oh, they
Joey,
got
I'll give you
out.
the answer.
Even better, Jova. Now
Even
they're
Oh.
better
They got owners.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? That's a happy ending for them, honestly.
I would want a bulldog that sounds like Benedict Wong.
That would be nice.
You see, Teo, this is actually. You see, Teo, what happened was Wong used his Sorcerer Supreme magic to turn himself into a dog for the lulz. Or maybe just to get away from Madison, Shiroi, probably.
One you
Maybe
should
just to get away from
ever
Madison.
seen.
What is the world coming to?
Inhumans.
Mass hysteria.
Next, you'll be telling me we'll be living with cats or something.
Ugh.
And now Tramp has kind of a Zidane from Final Fantasy IX type moment, as you're where he feels sorry for himself, but he misses Lady.
I do think it's interesting, though, you know. I mean, okay, I do want. I'll admit, I thought they were setting up for the whole lady. Oh.
Here. By yourself. Haha. Yeah, you did.
Again, I will give credit, though. The score here can sound pretty epic, all things considered, that it's a movie about dogs.
Okay, I'm not sure what other scores Joseph Trapanese has done before.
Me neither. Well, actually, no, never mind. I mean, he did Tron Legacy clips, but that's aside from that, he's done a bunch of stuff that I never heard of.
Okay. In regards to Tron Legacy, I think the most he did was conduct the
Okay.
the orchestra and that. Because remember, it was yeah. Okay, he did it with Daft Punk, but I think it was mainly one of the guys behind the scenes. Daft Punk did most of the legwork, and he's a Joseph Kosinski regular. Yeah, Trapanese orchestrated it there.
Yes.
On the plus
There
side,
we
Peg
go.
and Butch are doing better. Ouch. That is one of the worst times for someone to agree with you on something. Oh? Okay, I'll admit, I thought we were gonna go down the road where she shoos him off, but no, opposite of that.
This movie's way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah. Why is this so good and no one's seen it?
I know! Seriously.
Maybe were people burnt out by the remakes before this one?
Well, okay. Like I've mentioned, there were several things going against this movie. 2019, where the remakes were just, again, 4 remakes in 1 year. That's a little too much now. Holy cow. And yeah, again, the decreasing quality wasn't helping. Disney Plus original, at a time when Disney Plus wasn't exactly, again,
It barely started.
pretty much, yeah. And again, no physical release either. It is really frustrating, though. I do think a movie like this... But no, again...
You deserved love. I'm just sorry you can't be with me. Aw.
A question.
It's kind of a rejection, but it's not, the bitter, scornful rejection that it was in the original. It's one that's more tragic, though, in the sense where he can't let go of his life ideal freedom, and Lady recognizes that, but she recognizes also that she's got a good thing, and she doesn't want to get rid of that.
And now it's raining.
Yes,
Because of course it is. Was this very early in Disney Plus's life?
Yes.
Yes.
It was a launched movie, sure.
Okay, maybe people thought that, one of those things, trying to get people to sub for like this exclusive thing, maybe because it was a launch title. Unlike video games, maybe they thought this was just a throwaway remake and decided not to bother.
Like, it doesn't help that at the time of the launch, there wasn't as much, garnering people to Disney Plus as well.
There it is.
Okay, yeah, so... Oh, and we literally show that the rat is right there before the baby.
Also, Disney Plus didn't have a worldwide release in one go, so that probably didn't help.
What?
Oh.
God, you're here for this. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's probably a good argument. I get it. So in this instance, they think that Lady is obviously, bothered by the dog catcher, which she is, but God,
I can actually
terrible
understand this
timing.
because this is something that I also used to do with my dog, where sometimes when I would have a visit, and since my dog was a bit, she had a very complete lack of self-control. Sometimes I would have to put my dog in a room with a closed door, so that because the dog would constantly bother the visitor.
And there
So
and there are some times where a dog just clearly does not like a person due to bad
yeah.
experiences. And
Men
yeah.
it doesn't like the mailmen. Very stereotypical.
Oh
Well,
God, does
that's
she attack them?
how
Oh no,
cliche
gosh,
and
no, she doesn't attack anyone.
how
She just
cliche and st-
barks.
how cliche and stereotypical of her.
Yeah,
Yes.
seriously though, a
No,
lot
she
of
just barks.
Oh, there you go.
Like, I'm not sure about America, but if a dog attacks anyone around here, they have to be put down.
okay.
All right, so Tramp, like in the first movie, like in the original, Tramp to the rescue.
I see. And in this case, instead of Aunt Sarah being the one who spots him, it's going to be probably the dog catcher.
Let's see.
And Sherry, aren't there breeds of dog banned round here?
Yes, there are. Like pit bulls being one of the most infamous ones.
Wait. Pit bulls are outlawed over there?
Yep, they're
Shit.
considered a dangerous breed, even though Dalmatians are actually far more dangerous, but go off.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like pit bulls get a bad rap. Not to say that they can't be dangerous, but if you treat them right, they won't be dangerous. Or just
Yeah,
have...
it's down to the owners that are, like, doing that.
Like, seriously, my aunt and uncle own a pit bull called Chopper. He's smart enough to know that, generally he should not attack people unless they have it coming.
I know a few Americans with pit bull / pit bull crosses, and they're the sweetest dogs.
Another thing that I like to also note about Tramp specifically in this version is that I mean, maybe it's just because of the fact it's live action, but Tramp seems like he's definitely older in this version.
Which
Not
might...
just because of the voice, which again, he they want to give him he has a lot of street experience, so probably they made him a bit older.
It's
You were going to say something, Drips?
I was going to say, were there any cases of like dog attacks just coming completely out of nowhere?
If a dog's
I'm
not
rabid,
sure.
maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like it's not the fault of the owner or anything. The dog just went nuts.
There are some cases like that. Sometimes it's a massive misunderstanding or whatnot. Mostly, though, a dog likely won't do that on their own unless they're raised like that or they're rabid. To my knowledge, anyway.
I don't know the history, but maybe around here pit bulls were used for, bad purposes. But yeah, go on, Pedro.
In the interest of fairness, if there is one thing I will still concede that the original film did better was the fight between Tramp and the rat, because of the live action aspect, the rat cannot be as scary as he was in the original film, because in the original film they gave him all those evil like looking eyes and shit, but in the live action because of the live action nature of this film, that's not really feasible.
Honestly, I feel like they could have found a way to animate that rat to be vicious looking, but I guess maybe they didn't want it to look outright villainous like it did in the original.
Sure.
There's also the fact that the original took place in the middle of a thunderstorm, in the middle of the night, but here the room is brightly lit up and everything.
True, yeah, which I guess to be fair, they want to do it for the sake of the scene being able to be shown. That said, they have shown that rat has drawn blood on Tramp, which was not something we saw in the original, so there is that. Oh, crud.
Yeah. While the execution on the original for the scene was better, this scene is still gets the job done. It doesn't necessarily. And again, considering all the other major improvements we've seen, fair beans. Yeah, and I do like that Tramp takes a moment to make sure the baby's okay.
Okay, in their knowledge, hearing all this coming from the baby's room, oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! Yep.
Ooh.
That rat did.
There you go.
Also, I feel like part of what made the original version of that scene much better was the shadows lended a lot to it.
Oh
Because
yeah.
a lot of the fight was off screen technically, but that kind of thing wouldn't look as good in the live action setting.
I wonder why.
I will say this, yes, it was a very, very bad look for Tramp. I do like how Jim Deere handled the scene, though. Like, obviously the way you do it with what you think might be a bit of a rabid animal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, again, it's the same basic logic of the original film. From Jim Deere and Darling's perspective, yeah. I mean, what other conclusion could they get from what they saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, let's see what Lady has to show them.
Oh snap! We actually see the dead rat's body in this version.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
bloody too.
This
He
was,
bit it. Like he bit right through it.
Massacre my boy.
and yet, I think this movie is only rated PG. Let me check.
Hey, Jova, maybe the ratings board also didn't seem to notice much when they were watching it.
Well, fun fact, Pedro, did you know that Jaws is only rated PG as well?
Well, but that was a very different time, though.
Also, wait.
That was back when PG-13 didn't exist. Because remember,
What's Tangled's rating?
Tango's rated
rating.
PG.
Okay, that has blood in it.
Sure, yeah. I guess to be fair, it's a bit of blood, but it's not like absolutely gory. Oh, I see. So in this version, they're having Lady lead the charge to save Tramp. That's a nice touch.
Jova, I'm pretty confident if Jaws was released today, it would get a PG-13. Because the thing about that movie is that it came out at a time where PG-13 didn't exist. So they couldn't name it. It wasn't quite gory enough to be an R. So they just rated it PG.
I love how the dog.
It would be Spielberg who pushes for the creation of a PG-13.
Which I can kind of get, since PG-13 is that rating that leaves parents, confident enough to take their kids to some stuff.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, Teo, we have PG-13 equivalent ratings over here as well, so it's not like it matters. Like it's the same everywhere.
I love how we actually do get a scene of the humans piecing things together as well, too.
Yeah. So yeah, Jim Deere.
I like that moment there.
Yeah, Jim Deere and Darling actually go with Lady to save Tramp, and yeah,
they even take the baby with them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they're gonna just leave the baby in the house on her own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe in you. Never mind.
Oh snap! He's got the vision.
Yeah, they also do this thing where they show the no, that's not. Yeah.
Okay, so I see that we're pretty much doing all of Trusty's arc in the span of this one scene.
There you go, Shira. Jova. They changed it so that he does it via a motivational speech by Jock, which is basically a reverse of what happened in the original. So in this one, Jock gives him a motivational speech.
Interesting.
Also, is all reliable what he's calling his nose instead of, actual parent or thing?
Yes, all reliable. Okay.
Again, I am surprised by how hard the score goes for this movie, but I can appreciate this. This might be one of the rare occasions where I may actually want to look up a score for
What you
one
have
of these
here,
films.
what you have here, Jova, is a movie that is trying way harder than it needs to.
I'll say. Honestly, I really do think that if this had gone to theaters, word of mouth could have been good for this film, honestly. But again, I do wonder if it's also because this film was a Disney Plus original that, the creators were able to work their magic to this extent. Ah, I see. So in this version, it's Lady who barks to scare the horses.
Again, the movie wants to keep the focus on the two lead characters and have them
Yeah, I do like that she has the spotlight in this.
And it makes sense since she's the youngest, so she would have a better time keeping up, I guess. Oh, let me guess, she's gonna use the howling technique. Okay, maybe not.
The howling is supposed to be more like the symbol of their bond rather than an actual thing. But yeah, technically they could have done that too as well, I guess.
I thought they were
They
going
could have
to.
lion guarded this.
The filmmakers probably just saw the howling as the symbolic of their bond and nothing else, which again is fine too.
I can't believe
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
sure.
say
In
this.
this version, no. In this
one
version,
gets hurt.
Rusty did not
Wait,
intro.
hold on,
No, I
but
think
Tramp.
they still
Tramp. Tramp.
Oh, I see. So instead of Trusty, this time it's Tramp who's apparently dead.
which kind of makes sense since he was in the background even in the original version.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'll admit, in the original, that was kind of a bit of a... Oh. Boy,
And
Tramp's had
instead
a...
of crying, she's gonna howl.
Tramp's had a rough night. He got injured and bloodied by a rat, and now this.
There you go. See, Jova, that's what they always they say of the howling because the filmmakers are clearly telling you, Jova, the howling is supposed to symbolize their bond.
You know the sad thing? There's the other movie I can think of
There
that the thing is, like, the other movie that I can think of that emphasized the howling was Alpha and Omega of all things.
And yeah, there you go. It also serves as a payoff. Pretty good, kid, but we just need to work on your volume.
Ah.
And now it's Jim Deere and Darling's time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will say this. This dog catcher may have some point, given how these dogs managed to get his whole carrots knocked over. It was for a good deed. But from his perspective, I can get how he might be freaked out by this.
I've been after this mutt for years.
My life's purpose ripped from my very hands.
Easily drops the rope like that.
I mean, okay, to be fair, Shiroi, he did just have his carriage literally knocked over by the machination of a few dogs, so I can imagine how he might be feeling a bit spiteful now.
And remember, Tramp is basically his personal Moby Dick, so...
So now
Yeah,
what?
because what I do like, I was kind of worried about this, but I do like that he's not just some, ego-driven idiot with a power trip. He's actually has a vendetta against this fucking dog. But,
Yeah.
yeah. With the others, he is just doing his job. So it's like, I like that, he's not that one note, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, why is the music this good in Lady and the Tramp? Like, this is better than some of the big epic scale movies from Disney, honestly.
Why is this whole movie so good?
And here's the justification for why it's a Christmas movie.
I mean, it also started at Christmas. Although it's implied that
Oh.
not much time has passed.
Hey,
Yeah,
the
here-
young dogs. I see.
So there you go. Even Jock gets some pups.
Oh, they're the two puppies from the beginning of the movie. Huh?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's cute. I was
They
wondering if
basically
they were
Oh,
Lady
no.
and Tramp's kids at first.
Tale of all reliable.
I guess to be fair, he's not as senile, so it makes sense that he didn't forget the story in this version.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so in this version, it's Tramp with the bandages on instead of Trusty.
Well, remember he had his paw hurt because of the whole thing.
And again,
so-
it's implied not much time has passed, so that's why they did not add their children in this version.
That's fair. Welcome to the married home life, son. Aww.
Yeah, we ended with the same song at the beginning, but in this time song by Darling.
Mhm.
You know, I will say one thing I have noticed that seems to be a bit of a recurring theme with our Christmas picks so far this year is that they've all been kind of like presents in that they've been unknown surprises. The Snowman was something I was expecting would be a colossal epic failure to commentate, but just ended up being dull. Meanwhile, Fat Man was something we were all expecting to kind of just be mid at best, but actually ended up being surprisingly good. And now we have the Lady and the Tramp stuff, which culminates with the remake surprisingly being not just good, but pretty damn
The
great.
increase drove up. What was the phrase? I forgot it. Almost Christmas. It's not Christmas yet. So
My point is like, well, each commentary that we've tackled this year for the Christmas commentaries has been like a Christmas present. You're not quite sure what's going to be in it in that sense. At least for some of us here and there. But the results are
yeah, you
surprising.
say that, Jova, but tomorrow's pick is otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? To be fair, that one was a surprise back when it first came out.
Also, this was filmed in Georgia.
Also,
Oh, there
well,
you go,
okay,
then.
the whole Georgia peach thing, that seems to be a logo Disney uses in a lot of their stuff for some reason.
Alright, this is further along in the credits, but I'll explain it. Eventually, this background will fade back into the same drawing that we
Hey,
started
there
with.
we go.
Yeah. And it says here, and I'm going to read it for the sake of Shiroi, every dog deserves a loving home. If you're ready for the commitment of pet ownership, please consider visiting your local animal rescue to find the right pet for you.
Ah, a good PSA
That's
there.
nice.
So just like the original film, this is a love letter to pet owners. Not just dogs this
Someone
time,
on-
pet owners.
So does this
When
movie
I
have an
actually
after
mentioned
credits
this movie on the
scene?
SSM,
I
Uh,
scanned
I
along.
know.
I scanned along the bar thing. It doesn't.
if you count language credits and credits for the Latin American dub, after credit scenes, yes, but aside from that, no.
when I asked about the movie on the SSMV, someone answered me that apparently the entire production team eventually, at the end of the movie, adopted basically all of the dogs used in this. So that's apparently pretty cool.
Aww. Oh, please tell me they at least kept the lady and the tramp dogs together because, well,
I don't
okay.
know.
I will say
I
this,
don't know,
though.
Jova.
I will say
It's-
this. It's a good movie when I can't tell what scenes were obviously just them having trained the dogs well, or what scenes were CGI'd. Well, okay, there are some scenes I can tell were obviously CGI'd, but
The facial
no,
animations in particular, obviously.
I'm talking.
Alright,
Yeah.
final thoughts for Dibs.
I thought it was okay. My only real problem is that I think I think at some points the film was kind of a bit too long. It's a bit weird though. For scenes that were removed, the film's somehow longer.
Well, they added also extra scenes, but yeah.
I thought the acting was solid enough. Also, okay. I can say at least it passed the test of not looking worse than cats and dogs. So there's that. I mean, the score was nice. I can't remember hearing a lot of Joseph Trapani scores that I've heard that wasn't just him helping out other composers. But it was fine. And yeah, that's the thing about in terms of remakes of Disney films, I still prefer Cinderella over this, the 2015 one. But it's solid enough, I think, and that's all I gotta say about it.
All right, then.
Yeah, I'll go next. This honest, like I said, my relation between the original Disney is that I don't like them on equal level just for different reasons. And but this one, as we mentioned throughout, seems to have a complete understanding of what made the original, enjoyable, worked on the kinks that the original might have had to iron out. And yes, it did left some stuff out potentially, but the stuff that put in to compensate that are equally good, and some stuff that already work feel natural, organic, and not intrusive nor preachy. Like we could potentially be in so many modern products about it. Again, this feels that it feels a product that it's done first and foremost to tell a good story rather than being waggling its finger, about things and everything, while still retaining the whole PSA about treat your dogs well. Again, in general, the only real negative thing that I can say about it is what I mentioned before. The movie in general is not really as scary as the original was when it came to make things frightening, particularly the fight against the rat. I get what they were trying to do, but I think I agree with Jova. They could have had ways to be a bit more committed to make the beast scary. Because one thing I didn't mention is that one thing the original does is when the scenes get tense and scary, even our main characters, like especially Tramp, feels genuinely frightening. They even had some scenes where Tramp's eyes are colored differently to represent how menacing he tries to be towards the rat.
I do notice that they took out the scene where Tramp was fighting off the street dogs that were attacking Lady and sort of
That
replaced
one
that
was
with the more
replaced,
comedic scene
with
of
Clancy
Lady.
Brown, yeah.
Yeah.
That one I don't mind because it showcases instead while the original is still equally valid. This one feels still makes sense as a Tramp being living in the street makes sense. But he will try to be a sweet talker, a calm man of sorts. That will try to solve things out. Sure, you can argue I think that was tense in the original being replaced by a comedic one might be, a bit iffy, but I do not mind personally, to be honest. The one song that I mentioned, they did remove them, is a very small bit, where Lady ponders about what is a baby, the slightly surreal sequence where she thinks about, what her life would be when the baby comes in, but it's not present here. And to be honest, like I said, you don't really feel it like it's missing, So yeah, again, you can feel the joy and the coziness of the original, but you can also feel how this is properly adapted for a more modern audience and everything. And again, the fact that nobody talks about this boggles my mind. Like Pedro mentioned yesterday, even in the case of you don't like this and you think it's soulless like the other, most of the other remakes, why not talking still about it? It feels
I
natural. Again, it just feels this miniature, black hole or pocket of air similar to the ones we had with an airplane encounters. Again, similar to stuff like Time and Eternity, a product where it feels kind of natural that people would, find it, even for the, let's decide this obscure bit and talk about it, and yet it doesn't happen.
I really
Um,
have to think that the main reason this one did not get much buzz was, again, it was literally a combination of things. It released at quite possibly one of the worst moments to come as a Disney Plus exclusive, which is ironic because, ironically, 2020 would have been the pristine year for this movie being a Disney Plus exclusive. Like, how ironic is it?
That's
we
thing, Joe.
did
By
not
the
know back
time,
then.
that's the thing, Joe. By the time the pandemic started, the movie had already been on Disney Plus for a few months. So by that
Yeah.
point, it wasn't really showing in the homepage. So by that point, probably people didn't even notice it was there.
Like Drip said, the fact that not even the TV tropes page, like not even the Your Mileage May Vary page is big, definitely shows that this movie went under the radar. And oh my god, this is one of the most saddest cases. Like, granted, I'll admit I would have dug seeing a sequel out of this. And who knows, maybe they will, because however Disney considers a success in Disney Plus is weird here and there, but man, it would really be a shame if Disney looked at this and went, oh, well, people just didn't really like it because it's not that good, as opposed to the fact that I do feel like this movie was criminally underexposed to people. Now, yes, there were the ads here. Like, now, I will say this. People knew that this remake was coming, and mind you, they were dreading it. That is one thing for sure. But no, the weird thing is that there was no buzz about this. Like, yeah, now granted, I know you could probably point to me several different reviews that actually are out there on YouTube, though granted, some of those reviews came out like a year after its release. But okay, no, even still, there were some made around the time here. It's just that, well, it was not getting massive coverage from a lot of people. Like, I really do think it's a combination of things. Like, and I guess a lot of people figured, well, it's Lady and the Tramp. What really can you even do with that remake? Which, okay, I'll admit, even I was kind of wondering how much you could do with it. But no, actually seeing the movie, you can do actually quite a bit.
The thing is, and I actually did do some basic research on certain reviews of this one here, including the Channel Awesome one, since again, there's some of the only few segments I can find.
Yeah.
The most high-profile review I could find is indeed Doug Walker's Disney Cinema review. Anyone who knows Walker knows that he has a seething hatred for any live-action remakes of Disney. And just to give you guys an idea, he likes the Pinocchio remake better than this one.
Wait, really?
If that doesn't tell that the guy is not exactly a reliable source, I don't know what does.
I'm sorry, he
Don't get
likes
me
the
wrong.
Pinocchio remake that randomly adds a scene with poop in it better than this?
He recently did a Disney Cinema review of the Pinocchio remake, and he says that it's, of all the remakes, this is the one that's almost good, he says.
Ha! Wow.
So trust me, everybody. Don't go by Doug Walker's review, because this guy clearly has...
I'm not sure if it was mentioned very early when I had to BRB, but the Rotten Tomatoes score isn't low, but it's not high enough either. It's 65.
I wonder if it's hold on,
I
let
think
me
Pedro mentioned it at the beginning.
I actually
Alright.
mentioned that. And let's see, it had
Anyone.
it was off of 68 reviews. It's not the biggest number
Almost
of
nice.
reviewers. Yeah, I know, so close. The audience score, on the other
You
hand,
let us down.
The audience score, on the other hand, is a 50%, which means that people are incredibly split on this. Of the 500 plus ratings, which I don't know.
I mean, if I take seriously, if I find a Disney remake with a higher audience score than this, I'm gonna be pissed. Let me go. Go on to.
Honestly, again, I genuinely enjoyed it. I don't think I ever told you how much I think about most of the Disney remakes in general, especially because I haven't been in the countryside to those. And quite frankly, I don't particularly care about most of those outside of the ones that might be interesting to trash a lot about, like the Lion King one eventually.
I think you'd like the Jungle Book
But
remake.
I did actually. I mean, in terms of the one where you guys commented on or had plans, but whatever. My point is, it's also the fact that the bar has been set so low with the remakes in general, that the ones that actually do manages to shine through, like Cinderella, Pete's Dragon, and this generally do leave such a pleasant experience for the viewer that it feels almost real.
I
Um,
suppose I do have to wonder if part of my delight with this movie is just how much they've botched other movies, but I like to believe that, regardless of that, I do feel like this movie showcases what a Disney remake should be. A similar, but still something of a different experience, or at the very least
Again,
something that is good in quality.
usually when it comes to this kind of remake is the comparison of soul versus soulless, when it is. But in this case, again, it's arguable that the people who did this genuinely knew what the original was and wanted to ponder. I can definitely visualize all those, business meetings that these people had in rooms deciding what to do. How do we do this? Are you sure this is a good idea and everything? What do you think we should do in this place? You can definitely feel the commitment to the development team in this.
And
Something that it's not really felt in a lot of these remakes, like say, for example, the Aladdin one. Like, how much do you feel that as a Guy Ritchie movie, in
oh
general?
boy.
I did mention to Pedro when we watched the Pinocchio 2022, the Disney one, that I personally do feel a bit of Robert Zemeckis, prints fingerprints on it, but not as much, as the identity of the people, who did this particular movie, instead did for the original. So again, there's this just feel of pleasantness that permeates this remake that also helps. Also helps, but again, how generally of the original was just a good love story between as taking outside the anthropomorphy, the animal thing, a difference in terms of love, of social status and class, about when the dogs that live with their owners represent, the snooty higher class and everything, while, Tramp represents the people who just live in the streets, but because of that, they have a bit more, knowledge of the work camaraderie, and how at the end, it's more of a middle ground that even Lady says they kind of still are like us, but when they just don't even realize, not never part realize that it's kind of beautiful, and it also helps among the many other messages that this movie has, including Tramp's added backstory, which is simple and yet it's so perfectly ended that you feel like it should have been in the original. Um, that's the magic of this movie. Pure and simple as that. The only reason why they say that they put this on the same spot is because I don't think this should detract from the original. The original is still good for its own merits. Sure, it has the baggage on it that didn't help over the decades, but I do believe it still serves the purpose that it had originally when Walt Disney conceptualized it. So again, I do believe that this did the job just well, and these two can coexist, and you can choose the version which you prefer.
You know,
But yes,
sorry. One thing I've noticed with Disney remakes here, has anyone noticed that it seems like the movies that have had the best luck overall with the remakes are movies that come from the Silver Age of Disney animation? Like, when it comes to stuff from, like, Golden Age with Pinocchio and Dumbo, or Renaissance with, pretty much almost all the other remakes, those have been, let's be nice
Probably.
and say, lacking. But when it comes to the Silver Age films, like, Cinderella, Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp,
and
heck,
guess what? And
heck,
guess
even
what? Sorry,
101 Dalmatians, technically, before, these became a trend. But I still hold the Glenn Close movies are pretty great. Go on,
and
Teo.
guess what movie the director of Pete's Dragon, as Pedro mentioned, is doing next, one based on the
Yeah.
Silver Age.
That one too. I'm gonna bring up Pete's Dragon later.
Wait,
but,
hold on. What movie is
with
he
my
making
thoughts.
next?
Peter
Peter
Pan and
Pan.
Wendy.
Oh, yeah,
the Peter Pan
that.
remake. The remake of Peter Pan is going to be handled by him, and it's going to be renamed to Peter Pan and Wendy. So apparently Wendy's going to have a bigger role in this version. But again, we'll see how things go.
I've heard interesting things
Again,
about that movie, which sound good.
Cinderella aside, which instead was already critically acclaimed and still cornerstone from the remake to the original. Most of his other remakes is taking stuff that from the original might have not worked, and instead improving upon them and making a new classic for the audience. Again, the idea of what a remake of a property should be, which fits more with Disney. Again, this is why stuff like the Black Cauldron deserve something like this, and not the fucking Lion King.
Okay. When it comes to the Renaissance remakes, I wonder if part of the problem is that they're too new. In the sense that, with the Renaissance movies, okay, obviously, not everyone nowadays was a kid when those came out, but the Renaissance movies are still relatively new enough to the point where I don't know if Disney always have the best idea of what to fix.
Because when it came to your movie Sucks.org's review of the Lion King remake, which at the time of this recording is only part 1, his theory was much simpler than that, Jova. The kids who watched the original now have kids on their own. So they're basically, Disney has the perfect marketing opportunity to basically entice this new generation based on the nostalgia factor of their parents. It's a full scheme, and it did work out.
Oh, I get that. What I'm getting at is like, well, why have Disney had such bad luck, or rather execution, with remaking films from the Renaissance era, whereas, again, the Silver Age films, for the most part, seem to have been hits, like...
I have a theory for that. Okay. First of all, Jova, when it comes to the whole thing you said about the Renaissance movies, it's much more... I can say that with a lot more simplicity. Did The Lion King need a remake? No, it did not. So why bother? That's my take on the whole matter.
I guess, okay.
And the idea supposedly is that, but don't you see, kids are not going to go out of their way to watch an old movie. See, the thing is, nowadays, one of the more popular types of videos on YouTube right now is YouTube first time watching reactions. So there is quite a lot of new younger people watching these older movies. I actually watch quite a lot of first reaction videos out of them. For example, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is a Renaissance movie, that movie right now is much more popular than it was back when it first came out. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't really buy this narrative that younger people are not going to go out of their way to watch older movies. Yes, they do. How can
Disney Plus should not have the old catalog?
I was just about to say, can I say that argument really pales when you literally have Disney Plus, which can provide the original right there?
Not to mention how fucking disrespectful to the animators who work their fucking asses on every single frame.
Oh gee, it's kind of like time is a flat circle, because the animators working on Lion King certainly did not get Disney's big respect around the time. Go figure. But no, okay, and to its credit, not all Renaissance remake films are bad. I do hold that the Beauty and the Beast remake is actually good, though that one's a bit of an outlier, and it still does have its issues here and there.
As for the other question you asked, Jova, here's my answer. Probably, Jova, because The Lion King was one that Disney knew was going to make big bucks, so they put all their dirty little mints on it.
True.
Whereas with something like Cinderella, Lenny and the Tramp, and Jungle Book, they probably saw that these are going to do well, but not particularly well, so we don't care about these. So they just allowed the filmmakers to do their job. Basically.
And before anyone brings it up, because I know they might, no, I don't consider Maleficent to be an actual remake of Sleeping Beauty. It's a perspective change at best, really. It was a movie that told us we were going to get that film from Maleficent's perspective, but no, it completely changed how the story goes, to the point where...
Do people think it's a remake? Like, do people count it under?
Some people do. It kind of is.
technically, Sheila, it was that movie's success that spawned this remake trend. So technically, it is part of the problem.
And also, to be
So-
fair, it does use songs from the original Sleeping Beauty movie. So,
Yeah.
okay,
And
let
it
me
does retell technically the original story.
put it like
it's half
this.
remake, half perspective change, basically.
Let me put it like this. It's kind of like how Lion King 2019 technically shouldn't count as an animated film, but you get why it technically does. Maleficent technically should not count as a remake, but in
No.
some ways it unfortunately does. I personally don't count that. Same with Cruella being a supposed remake of 101 Dalmatians, because, to be fair, even the creators have gone out of their way to suggest that, oh no, that film's gonna be like a different timeline, which makes me wonder if Disney just learned their lesson from the backlash of Maleficent, because the sequel did not do as well, to say the least.
No. The sad part is that I found the climax of that movie, just the climax specifically, at the very least enjoyable for how bonkers it is. But go on,
Oh,
Jared.
yes.
I'm pretty much done. So yeah,
Sure.
again, bottom line, enjoy this movie, enjoy the original, but this one definitely manages to fit the shoes of the original very comfortably. And like the original, again, it's cozy and the perfect kind of movie also to watch around Christmas time, with a hot chocolate and everything. Um, Again, we don't really have very much of an influence at the moment, but we hope that this encourages you to actually give it a look more properly on your own this movie and spread the word, because at the very least, that's what the movie deserves. And after that, formulate your own opinion, but at least give it a try.
I agree.
Period.
Yeah, pretty much. This remake was great, and yeah, I feel like it didn't take away from the original completely, because it was different enough. It still had basically the same beats, but I I can view these as separate movies rather than, oh, one is obviously better than the other. I know I enjoyed this one a lot more, but I think you could tell from yesterday's commentary of the original movie that I still very much enjoyed that, even now. It's much simpler, but it's still, a perfectly good movie. This remake, I've asked this several times during this. Why are people not talking about this? Why didn't people talk about this? I don't understand people.
It is
I really
definitely
don't.
a very, very sad snubbing of sorts.
It's going to be one of those, okay, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show this movie to people. But yeah, it was nice to see the characters expanded a lot more. They're slightly different. I described Lady as ditzy, but she feels more like
She has agency.
she feels more like a character.
I was going to say, she feels more like she has agency in this version.
Yeah, and an adult too, because when you think about it, in dog years, they're all basically like adults, pretty much. Like so, but yeah, the dynamic between Lady and Tramp was really funny, and I like that they gave him a street smart sort of persona, and again, even the guy who runs the pound wasn't even as one note as I was afraid he would be. He's not exactly, all that deep, but he's still like, he's still not ego driven, which is what I was worried about. The changes that did happen, they were necessary, especially with some of the changes that they made to, some of the plot beats. So I don't know. I think this worked out very well, and the music, like the orchestra going off over there, jeez.
And not to mention, not a single pop song in sight. Thank
No,
God.
they even kept the choir worked so well. Still, it was amazing.
Yeah, seriously, have they used this Disney choir anywhere else?
I don't think so. Not that I'm
The
aware
movie
of, at
looks
least.
so good. But yes, Pedro.
Yeah. But sure, what about the awesome new backstory we came up with for Tramp?
I mean, it was only lightly implied in the original movie, but yeah, they showed it this time, and yeah, it's about what I expected, and fuck people anyway. There was one more thing as well that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, about Tramp, you mentioned like he looks older, Teo. I actually kind of like that because in the original, I felt like he looked a bit too Disney-fied. He looked a bit too groomed for a street dog, you know?
True,
So
yeah. He definitely has
I
the
think
messy
like
look
his
here.
look here is a lot better. Like really. Let's see. I think that's about it. This was really good. Who's next?
I'll go.
Before you
Oh,
go,
no, go
before
on,
you
Pedro.
go, Jova, I can now answer what you asked. So, first, let's mention. I looked at all the audience scores. I'll get to the reviews themselves, like you asked. Just give me a moment. Okay, so movies like Pete's Dragon and Cinderella, the remakes, I mean, have a higher audience score, which is fair. I do prefer this over the Cinderella remake, but that's
Same,
fair.
yeah.
I still have yet to see the Cinderella remake, actually.
It's good, but it's not as good as this. I'll tell you
Let
that.
me put it like this, Sherry. The Cinderella remake was definitely what got people excited for remakes back in the day because,
Yeah.
okay, Maleficent was Maleficent, but Cinderella was at least a good sign of how these could actually be really good movies that would offer a different enough experience.
And
That
then it
said,
all
we
went to
were
shit.
robbed, absolutely robbed of Helena Bonham Carter singing Bippity Boppity Boo during film as opposed to in the credits.
Yeah.
But again, we'll save that for an eventual Generations commentary of that movie.
Let me put it this way. Yeah, that by all means, perfectly fair to have Pete's Dragon and Cinderella have a higher score than this. I do think Pete's Dragon is probably still a better movie than this one. So definitely. That being said, one thing that I absolutely refuse to accept this is the fact that this movie has an audience score of 50 odd percent, whereas the Lion King remake has an audience score of 88%.
Okay,
Fuck
yeah.
off. Seriously, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
but
okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate with this one. While it is largely the same as Lion King, that is both its strength. Sorry, that is both its weakness, but also its strength. Because I won't deny, Lion King 2019 is a big source of the problem. But I can't deny that I like that movie. Granted, part of it is because I'm getting sort of a somewhat more tailored version of the Lion King plot, the poop scene aside. I mean, okay, it's complicated. It's very complicated. Like, well, to give the Lion King remake credit, aside from taking away the animal expressions in the poop scene, they technically did not do anything egregiously wrong, and there were some neat additions. The problem is that it is way too much like the original still. Like, I mean, I will say this. I can get why the audience score is bigger. I'm not saying that it's right that it's bigger, though, but I do get it. Like, one, more people probably actually got to see that movie, given how... Let's be honest, you could not escape marketing of the live-action remake of Lion King.
God.
What?
The Aladdin remake has a 94 audience score. Don't get me wrong.
That's
I
probably
like
all
Smith.
Will Smith's charisma going there, I'm assuming.
Look, Will Smith was really good in the movie. He was, but everything else sucked. Especially Jafar.
Oh yeah, no, I ain't defending Jafar. I do, look, like I said with our commentary of that movie, Aladdin is a movie that literally feels half good and half bad for me.
Anyway,
Don't tell me Pinocchio has a higher audience score than this, though.
No, Pinocchio has like 27 or something.
Which, that certainly lines up. Like, no, that movie was the absolute whipping boy when it came out.
Yeah. Pinocchio has a 27% on critic score and a 29 audience score. So basically, both critics and audiences are pretty much like completely in sync with this one.
I'm wondering if, again, part of why this movie has that low audience rating, and again, one thing we have to remember with Rotten Tomatoes scoring, it's based off of how many people actually liked the film and gave it a positive review versus negative reviews. So for all we know, it's not even a sign that people hated it, but just that they didn't give it as much positivity. Though I do agree in that sense it still deserves a higher score. But I do think this is...
However... Sorry.
I think this is definitely an issue of this movie not getting as much exposure as it should have gotten.
I will give it. I will say this: the Mulan remake has a 47 audience score. Don't get me wrong, both movies suck, but I'll still take the Pinocchio remake over Mulan any fucking day.
Oh, I
Jesus
will
fucking
too.
Christ.
My guess
The
is
Mulan,
that
the Mulan remake is still by far the worst, as far as I'm
Still have
concerned.
to see it,
Okay.
but not even as a wuxia movie traditional.
okay.
See, the thing is, Teo, even if you could, you probably wouldn't mind it as much as I do, or all of us. The thing is, as a Mulan remake, it completely misses the point.
Again, I get it, but I'll have to see it for myself.
Look, for as much as I personally hate Maleficent and as much as Cruella annoyed me, even those movies I will put above the Mulan
Cruella.
remake.
I forgot about that movie. Let me double check what that one is like.
I wouldn't be
Cruella.
surprised if that one has something in the 50s or whatnot.
Oh,
Like, people are very
God.
split on it.
97% audience score. This is the highest one. The audience score. With dazzling costumes, a great soundtrack, and a pair of terrific performances from Emma Stone and Emma Thompson, Cruella shows a classic character in an entertaining new light. No. Moving on to the reviews. Here's the first audience review of this remake, the Tramp remake, Jova. CGI was bad, another bad remake, 1.5 star, and that's it. That's all the review is. Brilliant.
I was asking more so about the few internet reviews on YouTube you could find for general
yeah,
consensus.
stuff like
that will take a lot more time.
Yeah,
Score on Rotten Tomatoes is more similar to Metacritic. You know, some people might even go there just to liberty troll. Again, as much as I didn't really ended up liking that much the movie. Remember, Captain Marvel alone was the reason why Rotten Tomatoes had to abandon the whole "Are you excited or not to see this upcoming movie?" because people started spamming the shit out of that in that category. So yeah.
All right,
Oh,
Joe,
well.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, no, I really do like this remake. Again, part of me wonders if my joy with this is just the fact that it is a true beacon of light in a sea of mediocrity and crap among the remakes, but no, I believe it's more than that. This is a legit solid movie. And, again, it's not like a case of, oh, you shouldn't see the original or whatnot, or, oh, you're getting too much of a similar experience. No, this feels like a movie that is an improvement on the original's plot, but it's in a sense where it still pays respects to the original here and there. What's more, the score. The score is fantastic. The renditions of the songs are there and good. It is nice how Aunt Sarah kind of gets her own comeuppance in this version. Whereas in the original, I wonder if the filmmakers realized, crap, Aunt Sarah may become quite unlikable, so they included that one line about her sending the dog biscuits as an apology as sort of a saving throw for her. But in this movie, oh, no. She pretty much gets the door slammed in her face with the cats and everything. That being said, the cast all play their roles spectacularly here. No, this is a really great movie. Now, that being said, one thing of note here, Trusty's arc is kind of shortened down to literally just that one scene as opposed to being something that was kind of built up over the film. I'm not too broken up about it, but I will admit I kind of had to tilt my head at that and go, we're really just tackling that in the span of this one scene. That being said, like Shiroi, I do enjoy that Lady has a lot more agency in the plot. That's good. And again, going back to the cast, no, they picked really great cast members, all things considered. The actress they got to play Peggy also does a good job, replicating the role of the original Peggy, who was literally based off of a famous singer at the time.
And she herself is an actress and rapper artist, so she is a musician like Peggy Lee was.
That's cute. As for the antagonist, the dog catcher, well, other antagonist aside from Aunt Sarah in this case, and the cats, but, well, you all know what bastards those cats are, but no, the dog catcher is interesting. Again, he's not a super deep or complicated character, but he's a character who definitely has his merits and morals. That being said, it is absolutely personal when it comes to Tramp. Like, holy cow. And I'll admit, part of me almost does feel sorry for the guy when his entire carriage gets toppled by Lady, and then right there and then, his own
He just
personal
walks
Moby...
out in the street in the middle of the night.
Like, he doesn't know what he's gonna do with the rest of his life.
Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
His personal Moby Dick just taken out from under him. Also, the emphasis on the human characters is done in a way where, again, I feel like it provides a good and new enough experience. Like, they're similar enough, but we do get some more stuff with them. Also, I'll
And they
admit,
don't feel intrusive. Like it doesn't detract away from the actual main characters. They give them just enough screen time so that they definitely feel more like characters, but at the same time, the filmmakers remember that this is supposed to be about the dogs.
which I think Lady put it well here. The dogs aren't necessarily the center of the universe in this film. It's just that the world is bigger, so we can acknowledge more about that.
Yeah.
Another thing I do like
Exactly.
about
The
this
world is bigger.
remake... Another thing I do like about this remake is how much it kept me guessing. Like, at some points I thought, oh, okay, this is how it's gonna go like in the original. Only for them to pull an interesting twist. Like, heck, Aunt Sarah gets shooed out way earlier than I thought she would as well, too. If at all.
Also, very quickly, because you brought it up, they did good by the cats, by the way. They kept the spirit of them, just removed the,
Yeah. Probably for
and they
the
made
best.
them even more terrible. It was great.
Wonderful. But, yeah, no, like, I do like how this, as a remake, you think, oh, this is how the scene's gonna go. But then they put an interesting spin on it. And again, not everything has to be the same as the original. If anything, I'm kind of glad that we didn't go with the typical misunderstanding of thinking that, oh, Tramp was just using her. Like, at first, the way that scene goes, I thought, oh no, she's actually gonna be like that. But no, she actually is somewhat understanding of why he might have done it, given his own pretty messed up past. Like, god damn. Betrayed literally during a game of cats. That's sacred to a dog.
The scene where Tramp returns and gives her that bone, like that's probably the most heartfelt scene in the movie because of the good dialogue in that. Like that scene is very well written. Like they say, "Look, I like this, but now being there, being free without you is just being alone." And of course look, I'm a stray dog. I don't have any value to anyone. Don't say that. You have value to me. And again, the
Feels
overall,
human, ironically enough.
like that's because the extra focus on the love story is what makes it even better because the filmmakers are trying their hardest to sell this romance to you.
It's also a very good inversion of the original where, yeah, Lady was absolutely having none of it from the Tramp and practically, called him a mutt to his face and told him to get the hell out. Whereas in this version...
Again, the removal of the extra relationship probably was to reinforce instead this, avoiding this.
Like,
I mean, the relationship in the original was very cute, and I did enjoy it, but you want to root for it so much more here.
Yeah, okay, and you know what? Not to say it was bad. In the original, it does feel like Tramp could... I don't want to say he was being condescending to Lady. He definitely called her nicknames here and there, but it definitely felt more like a bout of he was kind of supervising her at times. Again, that didn't take away from the romance, but no, man, on here it does feel like they're on much more equal terms, and yeah, like Sherry said, they're so much cuter that you really root for them, honestly. And, honestly, normally I would roll my eyes at the supposed Disney death scene, like, okay, I'll say this. Whereas in the original, this isn't to say that Trusty's supposed death was done badly, but it was kind of about that side character may very well be dead, only to literally show seconds, nope, he got better off screen. Whereas in this version, it happens to Tramp.
And it's used as a payoff for the arcs, like... we have Lady howling, which was of course built up, and of course it ends with a good, well executed comic relief joke with all right, very good. Now we just have to put this on the volume again. Everything feels purposeful, like it was done like Jova just said. The Trusty's injury at the end felt like it was just done for the sake of drama. It didn't really feel like it needed to be there. The death scene with Tramp feels purposeful because it works as a payoff to the character arcs.
And we even get payoff with the humans arcs as well, in some way, shape, or form. Again, they're obviously not as much the focus, but they work for what they do, and honestly, again, this is what a Disney remake should do. It doesn't have to be something that is the exact same, or it doesn't always have to be a complete radical shift and change either. What it needs to be is something of an updated experience, and I don't just mean in the sense where, we updated and sanitized it. I mean in a case where it legit just fixed the kinks and problems with it. This was part of my big disappointment with the Pinocchio remake, and the fact that while the original Pinocchio movie from Disney is good, it has a ton of room for improvement, and it seemed like they might have been going for that, but they kinda chickened out, which, again, I'll save that for the actual commentary of that movie. But, no, this movie, holy cow, this movie gives me absolutely what I look for in a remake here, without even knowing how it's gonna go. Again, it says something that I'm watching this back-to-back with the original. Well, more so, we watched the original yesterday. I'm practically watching this back-to-back with the original, and yet this still felt like a fresh enough, different enough experience. That's definitely the mark of a good remake, I would say. And yeah, it is one of my favorite remakes. I need to give Jungle Book a rewatch, but if I like this better than Jungle Book, this would actually be my favorite Disney remake. I mean, I'll admit, I still do also like the Beauty and the Beast remake. It has its issues, but I really do like it. And I do have a soft spot for the Lion King remake. I know. It has its details, but I just can't get over how much I do love the aspects of that movie that do work there. But no, this one is actually legit good, and it doesn't just coast off of the original either. Seriously, give this movie a watch.
Basically. As for me, I do think this is the best live-action Disney remake, and here let me explain. Technically, of this series of movies, the best one is probably still Pete's Dragon to me. However, the thing about the Pete's Dragon remake is that aside from the fact that there's a boy named Pete and a dragon named Elliot and they're friends, that's literally the only thing in common the two movies have, because Pete's Dragon is more like a complete reimagining than an actual remake. Trust me, those two movies have nothing to do with each other, pretty much.
I kind of assume that's kind of what the live-action Black Cauldron movie will be like, in a sense.
Hopefully. And trust me, because me and Shiro have actually seen the original Pete's Dragon a couple years back, and trust me, that movie hasn't aged well at all. The original Pete's Dragon is really bad.
I've heard, wasn't it one of those movies that even the makers of it didn't really care for it either in the long run?
Let me put it this way. The most memorable thing about that movie is indeed Don Bluth's animation of Elliot. Yes, Don Bluth's animation, as always, is fantastic. Thing is, the actual movie is very poorly made. But that's not the point. So, as for I like the Cinderella remake, but not as good as this one. Aladdin, like I said, I like Will Smith as the genie. Everything else sucks. The Lion King remake, as far as I'm concerned, they fixed Timon and Pumbaa. Everything else, on the other hand, is just a complete waste of my time because I might as well be watching the original. The Pinocchio remake. Okay, see, the thing is, the Pinocchio remake is bad, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you have some people, there's literally a YouTube video literally titled, "The Pinocchio remake is one of the worst movies ever made," and I'm like, okay, how many bad movies have you actually seen? Because I could show you some shit, my friend. When you say it's one of the worst movies ever made, I hope you understand what that implies.
I do agree, yeah.
Because I don't give a shit if you're tired of these remakes. Be objective with your criticism, good sir.
Pretty much, because we don't want to diss a remake that's actually good when it comes about.
Exactly. So the basic point is, and by the way, the Mulan remake absolutely is complete garbage. So that's of course going to be worse. This one, on the other hand, okay. again, it's basically this is basically a fight between Pete's Dragon and Lady and the Tramp. But I will say, Lady and the Tramp is an actual proper remake, whereas Pete's Dragon is more like a complete reimagining. There's literally nothing in common between the two movies. But this movie is the first. And it's in Jungle Book. I enjoyed the Jungle Book remake. That being said, that remake is good, but there's still some things that the original did better, and quite a lot in certain things. It's more like one of those things where I do see both movies. Like both movies have their pros and cons to me.
I can't help but find some irony here. Whereas the original Lady and the Tramp is, again, like I mentioned, it's a good movie, but it wasn't like, the big standout movie. Whereas now, the live-action remake is probably a contender for one of the best remakes of the bunch.
Exactly. So, definitely to me, the best of the Disney live-action remakes, for the reason that Pete's Dragon, to me, I consider that a reimagining. The word remake doesn't really apply to Pete's Dragon. This is an actual remake. Definitely. And like everybody else said, yes, it expands upon everything. It expands upon the characters. It expands upon the story. While it is true that some things were left out, it was for a good reason. They wanted to keep the focus strictly on the two title characters because, well, they're the core heart of the movie. And yeah, it pays off. The romance in this movie feels a lot more heartfelt, and the overall sense of humor is very good. The movie is really funny. There's also a lot of love, a clear love for the original movie because they went out of their way to respect it in every way they could, even bringing back the old Disney choir because why not, right? As a result, pretty much every single scene in this movie feels earned because you can tell that a lot of effort and care went into this. And the fact that it's gone completely wasted is criminal, like everybody else has been saying.
God, it's Treasure Planet all over again.
I would have liked to see Charlie Bean direct another one of these. I mean, maybe.
I was about to say maybe the Aristocats, like similar thought process and everything.
Well,
I do.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I wonder if we'll get maybe a sequel to this movie. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really think we need a sequel to this, honestly. I feel like just let Charlie Bean direct something else. Because Pete's Dragon was not a box office success, and yet Pete Lowry was still allowed to direct another one. So yeah, why not let Charlie Bean direct another one of these? Maybe have, like Teo said, have it be an Aristocats remake straight to Disney Plus, and this time actually fucking promote the thing.
Possibly. I mean, I really do feel like had Lady. The sad thing, this movie, all it needed to do was be either released late enough into 2020 for the pandemic to have hit, in which case everyone was jumping on Disney Plus. Like, it literally picked the worst year to be on Disney Plus. Like, again, that's the thing about this movie. Like, you hear stories about these random miracles that bring great stuff. Well, this is like an anti-miracle. Like, it literally had all the ingredients that were set against it at the time, because I do feel like if this had released any year aside from 2019, this probably would have gotten more recognition.
Indeed. The main reason why I consider this one the best is because this one pretty much succeeds at pretty much almost everything. The only thing that's I will consider inferior to the original film is, like we've said, the fight against the rat. That being said, considering how much this movie completely exceeded my expectations tremendously, I'm willing to forgive it and overlook it, to be honest with you. Because there's just so much good in here that it's just hard to really focus on that one scene, to be honest with you. Because like I said, it's not like they ruined the scene necessarily. The scene still works fine. It doesn't work nearly as well, but it still gets the job done. So whatever, fine. Yeah, I really enjoy this, and so if Pete Lowry can get a second chance despite Pete's Dragon being a box office not bomb necessarily, but it definitely wasn't a success. Who knows? Maybe we can get Charlie Bean to direct another one of these. Why not, right? If Pete Lowry can get a second chance, I don't see why Charlie Bean can't. Another theory that I might have as well when it comes to these remakes is that, remember, let's think about this for a moment. The best movies of this series are Pete's Dragon, and Lady and the Tramp. And both of those movies were directed by directors who weren't exactly household names. I have never even heard of Pete Lowry before Pete's Dragon.
And from what you
once
told
again,
me,
I've
Charlie
never...
Bean did not exactly have the best resume up to this.
Yeah, true. But my point is that just like Pete Lowry, he is not a household name by any means. And yet when they get these renowned directors like Robert Zemeckis, Jon Favreau, Guy Ritchie, and the woman who directed Mulan, who has directed good movies before, when they get these super talented directors who should easily do a good job, and yet they fuck it up so hard, and yet when they get these nobodies that I don't know who the hell they are, they do a better job. It really tells me that probably a lot of these, I'm starting to genuinely believe that a lot of these high profile directors like Zemeckis genuinely only did this for a paycheck, because we know that Zemeckis has really not been doing good movies for a long time now, but we know that Jon Favreau is capable of much better than what he did with The Lion King. We know that the woman who, I forgot her name, the woman who directed Mulan is capable of better than this. We know that Guy Ritchie is capable of better than what he did in Aladdin. So what happened? Did Disney completely fuck them over or something? Oh, we know that, Tim Burton. Well, Tim Burton also hasn't exactly been doing his best work recently, so the Dumbo remake being bad is not exactly a surprise.
Also Kenneth Branagh with the Cinderella remake, but as we've seen, even he could not keep a good momentum with Artemis Fowl instead.
I do
Kenneth
wonder.
Branagh actually did good. Kenneth Branagh did really good with the Cinderella remake. The thing is that I guess after that he just went nuts. I don't know.
I think one thing to keep in mind here is it's a similar thing with the MCU. It's not a simple bout of always it's the director's fault or the company's fault. Here's one thing. I do hold on Disney, though. I do think that Disney should have done a better job at maintaining the quality and knowing, okay, when to step back and not executive manhandle stuff, or, when to ring in the director a bit, or knowing when to give the director the freedom to give something of a nuanced and new and original vision. And mind you, a good one, because technically Aladdin does bring changes to the plot. The problem is a lot of them aren't necessarily good changes.
No, that's what I think. That's the thing. Okay, maybe Guy Ritchie was just tried to change Aladdin into something that he preferred to make. The thing is, he didn't. There wasn't exactly a lot of the good decisions.
Well, first and foremost, let's keep in mind it was Guy Ritchie trying to do a musical, which was just weird. Not impossible, but weird.
And yet I was working on another one.
Well, that's because this one made a lot of money.
If there's a hefty paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say. Obviously, it's all everything that me and Joe are saying are purely speculation, of course. We have no evidence of anything. However, seeing everything that has happened, it really makes me wonder if maybe it's one of those cases where Pete Lowry and Charlie Bean saw these remakes as an opportunity to do something good because, hey, if we prove ourselves, maybe we can get up in our careers. If we prove ourselves and do a genuinely good job and try our best, maybe we can, get better work and everything after this. Whereas I'm starting to genuinely believe that maybe the high-profile directors like Favreau and Nikki something. I know her first name is Nikki. I'm starting to genuinely believe that are these directors really just phoning it in just for the sake of a paycheck? Because it doesn't really feel like their heart was in these remakes.
Well,
whereas Charlie Bean and Pete Lowry, you can definitely tell that their heart was in it.
See, here's the disappointing thing about Favreau. We do know for a fact that his heart wasn't on the remakes. First off, he did the Jungle Book remake. That was good first. And with Lion King, we actually do see he was very, very enthusiastic about it. The problem was he just had the wrong idea here. His idea was strictly make it so good it looks realistic. Which, to be fair, he succeeded. And well...
As Hitchcock said in an interview, realism by achieving realism is death of creativity.
Pretty much, yeah. Let me put it like this. Lion King is a case of things going horribly right. No, mission was accomplished. You got it looking very realistic. And that's
that
the
is
main
horribly
problem
misguided.
people have with it.
Yeah. Whereas, hell, the Lady and the Tramp succeeds much better at the whole realism because
It
the
does.
dogs in this movie feel believable because again they use real dogs whenever it was possible, and even when they're using the computer to create all the various animations that they need, specifically facial animations, they look good. I never really had any problem with it, and and again that's because the people who made this movie actually had their heads in the right place, whereas Favreau just didn't. Like, okay, even if his heart was into it, his head clearly wasn't because it was
Pretty
such
much.
a boneheaded, stupid move. Whereas these Pete's Dragon and Lady and Tramp genuinely feel like the directors genuinely had both their heart and their head into these things. Okay, it's kind of you talked about the whole things. It's kind of like with what I said at the end of our Rise Son of Rome commentary, where Yearly, this was clearly a passion project for him. The problem is that he went with all heart and no head.
Pretty much.
So yeah, again, these remakes can be good and worthy additions if the people making them know what they're doing. The problem is nobody bothers to check if the people making these things know what they're doing. Occasionally they'll accidentally find people who know what they're doing to work on these, but let's face it, it's too much of a once in a blue moon situation. So either stop making these or actually stop and think, okay, who are the people actually making these good? You know, that's the problem. Like, there's clearly something is wrong that needs to be changed when it comes to the production, the executives handling these remakes, because the fact that this keeps happening is baffling to the least. That being said, like I said, I'm still not going to go with the whole Pinocchio is the worst, one of the worst movies. When you say one of the worst movies ever made, you're putting it right up there with movies like fucking Book of Air. Like, Book of Air is far worse, but there's a movie that I just pull out of my ass.
Let
It's
me put it like
definitely worse
this.
than the Pinocchio remake.
If you want to call a remake one of the worst movies, I'm sorry. If you want to call a remake one of the
go on. I'm trying to remember the title.
if you want to call a remake one of the worst movies ever, that's safe for something as bad as like Mulan 2020. Where like
There you go. It's like, you want to put it on the same level as After Last Season? I do not think so.
Look, the Pinocchio movie has a ton of problems, but I'm not gonna act like it's complete trash, because no, it does have some good things, and I can believe Zemeckis was trying here and there. Now, whether or not that movie was originally supposed to go to Disney Plus or it just got put there oddly, we'll save that for when we actually commentate on this movie. This commentary has been going on for long enough as it is.
So
anything else to add, Pedro?
No, the Lady and Tramp remake is great, and you should watch it. So go fucking watch it.
Enough said.
And
so,
that's why I dropped my mic. If I had a mic, I would drop it, but I don't have it. Well,
So-
I have a mic right here, but I can't. I'm not gonna drop it because I'll break it.
That would be a great way to finally celebrate Christmas, having this the end.
so Teo,
Except it's
you
not
know.
the end.
Well-
it never did.
Oh yeah, that reminds me, Teo. So the map on the sled says that we're still sticking around in Disney territory. So I guess we're in for something
Shiri,
nice and pleasant.
Before leaving, Shiri decided where to go next, but I personally don't seem to have any recollection with this place. It's a castle in the middle of the French woods. And apparently, it says where the Team Curry is involved. So, are we doing Home Alone 2 again?
Or maybe there's a secret Hunchback of Notre Dame Christmas film we didn't know about.
God, can you even imagine that?
The sad
Still,
thing is, I could.
We'll see what happens when we get to this rich boy's castle. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.